We're live, pal.
I love that.
With a brand new intro.
I like that a lot.
I made that this morning at 6 a.m. because a couple was fighting across the street from my house, woke me up, and I could not go back to sleep. Welcome to Pro Wrestling Simulated, everybody. I'm Mike. That's Pat. We are here for the 500. The tournament continues, and I would like to make a very special announcement. You know, several years ago, a promotion came out that I have been a fan of and have seen legendary wrestlers come out of, and I am proud to say that I am now the owner of NFT. What's that? It's not a... What's the thing that Triple H got fired from? Oh, okay. I am sorely mistaken, and I am in debt.
But at least you've got a receipt that says you own a monkey.
Yes, that was weird. I was wondering why. I was like, where's the contracts and the talent and stuff? But I was like, you know, it seemed weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not the only one who bought a promotion. Tony Khan, the man who can only speak normal in post-show press conferences, told everyone, I just bought Ring of Honor! Okay, I love TK. I love how excited he gets. He is a gigantic dork. He is genuine.
Well, no,
but that man should not have a live microphone on television.
No. He works very well in pre-tapes and press conferences. Live in front of an audience. As somebody who saw him do that multiple times that week in Chicago in September, yeah, he gets he's a little...
Do you remember the premiere of Elevation when he told... Do you remember the premiere of Elevation when he told Kenny Omega, you're gonna face him in 9 days? Like, yeah. Dude, no. Just stay with Tony Schiavone backstage and alright for your promos.
It'll be alright, buddy.
But yeah, Ring of Honor now under the ownership of Tony Khan. I have to make clear that I realize that All Elite Wrestling does not own Ring of Honor. Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor. The reason for that being is probably to escape a conflict of interest or any sort of like, what's the laws that prohibits monopolies?
Antitrust? Yeah,
antitrust law. Granted, that aside, it must be nice to be a millionaire. That was not the announcement that kind of people were expecting. It was guessed at, but it wasn't the one because apparently that purchase was down to the wire.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many stories coming out about like ROH talents didn't know until they saw the announcement on Dynamite.
Yeah, unless they were watching Dynamite, nobody knew.
WWE didn't know until the announcement was made on Dynamite. They thought that negotiations were still going well until TK comes out and is like, yeah, no, I own it now.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of ideas of like what Ring of Honor is going to become. Pretty much, you know, I think the Supercard of Honor, whatever plans there were for it, is going to be scrapped. Sorry, Alex Zane, for you were the one announced match I think that he had on there, and then that's probably just, that's gone, and it's gone. I do think though, like the most reasonable thing and the most expected thing is that ROH is going to become essentially the NXT of All Elite Wrestling, and probably the good version from the Gold and Black days at like the prime version, like the prime level that it was being
Finn
delivered
Balor,
at.
Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn,
yeah,
Nakamura era, yeah.
Now I don't think it's going to be sign every indie guy fever like Triple H was doing, where basically William Regal went to the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla locker room and said, all of you. You.
And what's this we've got in the Performance Center? Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. All right, bring it.
Yeah, why not? Who are these guys that walked in? You ever hear Big E's story about how he wanted, like how he got into wrestling?
No.
So, I think it's like the first episode of the Nube podcast, and they're all talking about basically their origin story. Kofi was like, I always wanted to be a wrestler, you know, coming over to America and being raised there, and then, you know, training, you know, and Austin Creed was like talking about Xavier Woods, and professionally he goes by Austin Creed. You know, he's talking about coming up in NWA and then going over, you know, TNA, and then being able to train with Scorpio Sky, who was practically my neighbor, by the way, when I was living in Celebration. I bumped into him more than anybody that I knew famous. Like, for me, he was so cool. Like, I took a picture with him once, and then just every now and then it would just be casually like, "What's up, man?" and it was cool. But sorry, tangent. But you know, they're all talking. Both of them are talking about like, "Oh man, I always wanted to be a wrestler." And then Big E coming in from football in college. Just, he said, I walked into the Performance Center and said, "Is this where y'all do the wrestling?" I want to do it too.
Is this where y'all do the wrestling?
I love that.
The Big E story.
So I think Ring of Honor is going to become essentially the NXT of it. I predict QT Marshall, having ties with it in the past, may end up being the booker of the promotion, and they are going to develop, you know, talent from the factory and talent that are relatively new to the scene but are getting like some high profile looks to them. And then basically, and I've told you my plans with this. Here's what I'd do. You tape AEW Elevation in Universal Studios. Now, the reason I say Elevation is because you just scrap Dark. Give Elevation its own set, its own identity, give it some stakes where it's like, this is where the newer talent go to gain some wins, gain some losses. This is where our veteran and high profile comes in to showcase what they do best. And like, let that be, you know, your bulk taping, you do that. You don't have, it's one less thing on the road you have to worry about.
Yep.
On the road, you do Dynamite, you do Rampage. There. You have 3 hours of taping with maybe a couple of like pre-show stuff, just for the
actual dark matches.
Actual dark matches, the way they're legitimately meant to be, like unsigned talent that you have, like the way it used to be. You know, jobbers became enhancement talent, and then, you know, that's just how it worked. And they're old territory marks anyway, so I mean, it works. And so you have your 3 hours, plus you don't tire out the crowd.
Yes.
You keep the crowd, like, you know, 3 hours is a good chunk to just get your best stuff in on a weekly basis.
Yep.
And this way you don't have to pipe in audience reactions on a Friday when they're already exhausted. Then you do, with Ring of Honor, you do the smaller venues. No more than maybe like between 9 and 5K capacity.
Yeah.
Because you can sell those, you know, now that you have a rebranded Ring of Honor that you are really like kind of showcasing, I think that it might be best to step away from the pure wrestling and just kind of let it be like, play up the sportsmanship, but don't like you don't have to go full Terminus like Jonathan Gresham did, which is so, by the way, I saw Terminus 2, really, really cool to see all those rules in action. Like, seeing Davey Richards lose because of a 5 count count out. I was like, oh, like this could happen. Like, it's not, and the kind of like, it's still, the crowd is still warming up because, you know, you're indoctrinated with all the traditional rules of pro wrestling and all the tropes. And when someone really takes like a left turn on changing it, you kind of have to like work with the audience too.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, they just like throw it in there. And it was cool. Like every match that went overtime, they said 90 seconds overtime. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because even the crowd was like, draw. I'm like, no, there's no draws. There's just, they have to have a winner. So that was cool. And then, I gave you my as far as Ring of Honor goes, you do like your 1 show a month tapings, 4 hours right in there. and then there's your your show. I don't know where they're necessarily going to put it.
Do it at 2300. Do it at those the smaller venues.
Yeah, like Hard Rock and save the big venues for like your pay-per-views.
Right.
Now, would you put like Honor Club on HBO Max? Like, would that be like? Would you give AEW its own hub and then have Ring of Honor be part of that hub?
I think if they can do it well. Basically,
Lord knows there's plenty of content with all the shows that they've taped already.
Yeah, my concern with doing it on an existing platform like an HBO Max is that it winds up looking like WWE on Peacock.
I've heard this argument,
but one thing that HBO Max does possibly better than any other streaming platform is their hub setup.
Yeah, it's easy to find stuff.
Yes,
it's so much easier to find stuff.
Pretty well.
Even on Netflix, I can't find stuff that easy.
No, Netflix is honestly their UI is pretty terrible.
It's broken
unless you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
There's the search function works just fine.
Yeah.
But the categories that they come up with are not great. But Disney Plus does it pretty well. HBO Max does it very well.
Those hubs just make everything so much easier. Like if I know that I want to watch old school stuff, I go to the TCM channel.
Yep.
If I know I want brand new stuff, there's the originals. Plus, there's an entire DC section.
There's an entire DC section. There's an entire Looney Tunes section. There's an entire section.
For me, as a old school Looney Tunes fan, I'm gobbling that stuff.
The very first thing that I watched when I got HBO Max was I'm blanking on the name of it now. But the cartoon where Daffy is arguing with the animator.
Duck Amuck.
Duck Amuck, thank you. Yeah, that was
the
very first thing
awards.
Because it was like one of those like moments from my childhood that I had not seen in 30 plus years.
Yeah, I immediately went to like What's Opera Doc and all that stuff.
I think that was probably the second thing I watched.
And once Ring of Honor, the library becomes available, I think the first thing I'm going to do is watch All In again, because now that show is available to them. Yep. Basically the spawn, like the birth of AEW. And then, that entire library, just most of the talent now that's on AEW, or like the legends of sorts, or the longer standing veterans, are Ring of Honor people.
Yeah.
And it used to be the other way around. Where it was like the WWE guys were more so, hey, let's rely on Ring of Honor to feed us their new talent.
And there's still an element of that.
Yeah.
In WWE. But
I mean, I think it was when Gabe Sapolsky was still working with Ring of Honor that he had a better relationship with WWE, because he was essentially like the Heyman to them at that point with what he was with ECW. Yeah. But where do you see Ring of Honor going in like a few years?
I think that's honestly the interesting question, because I imagine it's going to be like you said, where it's going to be kind of a separate brand, a separate lesser brand than the main AEW shows.
I don't know if lesser is the right word.
Well,
I think more like maybe toned down or like scaled down. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably a more accurate. That is probably more accurate than. Hold on. Yep, there we go. Sorry, had to adjust a couple of settings there.
No, it's all good. People know Twitch streams are never perfect unless you're like somebody who's been doing it for years or has an entire production team behind it.
No, we're doing this as a two-man operation.
Exactly.
Thank
you to StreamYard, by the way, who's been our provider for
StreamYard,
all of this stuff. Like we started on Restream, and that was it was okay for stuff, but we ended up we switched to StreamYard because we're not sponsored by them. I just like it because Pat and I they have this co-producer type deal. So I don't have to do everything. Pat doesn't have to do everything. We can switch it up when we need to.
And also made it super easy to live stream the matches without having to pre-record them,
And
which was
multi-stream.
something we were having to do on Restream.
Yeah, and the multi-stream option is awesome.
Yes.
So after we're done with the first half, we'll talk about the other big event that's the other big thing that's happening today, which is Revolution. We will not be doing a live stream watch along with that tonight because we're just going to go watch it and enjoy it ourselves. We've already had
some live
plans to do
tweeting
that.
involved.
Oh, absolutely. But you know, enjoy it, have fun. But when we do the second half, we'll do our little prediction stuff and talk about a little bit more about the world of pro wrestling news. But we have got our first match of the night day. I always do that. It's dark right now because it's so cloudy, so that's even throwing me off more. And I'm like, oh no, it's nighttime, right? No, it's not.
It is in Australia.
That's true. That's very true. If you're from Australia, by the way, good day, or good evening. Yeah, it's like AM morning over there right now. Like,
yeah,
no, or closer to midnight. I don't know how the world works in terms of time. Just give me that much.
They're like
folks.
what, 16 hours ahead. So
I
it's
think
like
so. I don't know
3
how it
a.m.
works.
They must be
So, with that being said, we're going to go into our first match. One of my favorites, and a person who a lot of people got surprised by in terms of the natural ease into which they became a pro wrestler with filthy Tom Lawler. And who is he facing today?
He will be against WWE NXT UK's Tioman.
NXT UK, still a thing.
Still a thing.
May not be for long.
Nobody tell Vince.
Nobody tell Vince.
Actually, honestly, let's be honest. Nobody tell Nick Khan.
Yeah, that's true. His spreadsheet will open right away and be like, nope. Whose name can we change?
Yes. Tyler Bate, more like Johnny Mustache.
I would not be surprised.
So, Tioman, German wrestler from Berlin, formerly known as Lucky Kid, formerly known as Metehan. My German is terrible. My Spanish is good. My Japanese is okay. My German is non-existent.
All three of those, though, minus the German. Well, I think I could pull off German name. Just pronounce. Here's the thing: can't speak a lick of foreign languages for the most part, but I can enunciate and pronounce the words as close to them as possible.
Yes. And
that comes just from reading lines.
Yeah.
But the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Champion, the only championship in New Japan Pro Wrestling that is not an IWGP title. I always love the concept of openweight because it gives that division feel, but at the same time, it's your main championship that anybody can contend for.
Yes.
So you don't have to kind of have like, well, you're 205, not 206, so you can't compete.
Right.
Although MLW does really good with the divisions, and we put over MLW all the time. Especially now that Microman signed a multi-year deal.
I mean, we were half joking, but half not last week.
I'm telling you right now, Microman is going to be the thing that puts MLW even more of a spotlight.
That's absolutely my belief as well. I do think that this is the signing that's going to get them mainstream attention.
Tom Lawler really trying to finish off Yeoman quickly.
Yes.
Tioman, excuse me, with submissions. Not unlike how he does in real life.
Yeah. I mean, that MMA background for Filthy Tom, you're talking about his very natural transition into the world of pro wrestling. He reminds me
uncanny transition.
He reminds me a lot of Ken Shamrock in that regard.
Yeah, except with personality.
He got it. As soon as he stepped foot in a ring, he was like, "Oh, so this is what this is? Cool, I can do this."
Yeah.
Lawler's got a little more personality than Shamrock.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Ken Shamrock was a
yeah,
then, yeah.
But in terms of the taking to the what he was already doing and then adding kayfabe on top of it. Sorry, Eddie. Adding.
I loved, by the way, can we just talk about that one line? Hey, I know kayfabe is dead, but let's not piss on its grave. I was like, yes, thank you, Eddie, thank you.
And I saw some people on Twitter that were like, yeah, but him bringing it up is kind of breaking kayfabe. I'm like, no, because he's acknowledging what Jericho's been doing this entire time,
which is
this
breaking
is the
kayfabe.
One time he's acknowledging it. The whole time he's been like, what's a baby face? And all
because
that
to be fair, it's like a sarcastic comment, because Eddie Kingston is just a guy who does what he wants when he wants.
Yeah.
There's no good guy, bad guy to him. He just is.
Yeah. And that's why audiences love him.
Yeah.
Because he's probably him and Punk are the two most genuine, like what you see is what you get. There's no character there for either of those guys.
But man, Lawler is kicking Tillman's ass.
Yeah. Honestly, it's getting to the point where I feel a little bad for Tillman. Like, I kind of wish Lawler would get him into the middle of the ring when he's doing those arm bars and ankle locks.
Also, we're seeing probably more submission animations than we have ever seen in this game so far.
Also true. Not
good on the creator for like legit putting MMA moves onto Lawler.
Yeah. Well, and there's a whole mode. There's an MMA mode in Fire Pro.
That's right.
So I think they just kind of whoever, and I apologize. I should really have made.
I feel like that was a push by Suzuki because of his MMA background and New Japan's involvement with these games. Because this is like unofficially the official game of New Japan.
Yes. Yeah. This because Fire Pro's been around forever, but they've never really had the license of a real promotion. Yeah. It's always been like like, oh, that's clearly the Road Warriors, but they can't call them the Road Warriors, so they've got, whatever generic names.
Is that a different stage that we have? Because I feel like
I think it is. I think that was the one thing I forgot to change before this match. So
vary it up every now and then.
So I was trying to do all of the first round matches in the outdoor arena, but I kind of forgot for this one, which, not the worst thing. We'll just say this one was pre-recorded at another wrestling event.
I mean, it's a game. I mean, we're gonna make this
right. Yeah, exactly.
It's just a game, folks. Remember, at the end of the day, it's just a game.
If you're looking for consistency, this isn't the place for it.
Not it. Go to, support other streamers, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want to call it early, but I'm pretty sure that Lawler has this if he keeps breaking down Tillman.
Yeah.
The way that he's doing.
Tillman going to the top, though. Lucky kid. Is he going to get lucky here?
Big missile drop kick.
Barb Sasaki is our referee from Stardom.
Nice belly to belly there.
Lawler goes back to the ankle.
Gotten in like a reverse ankle lock, but in a leg grapevine. Again, that MMA background. I also have loved how well he has integrated it into the New Japan, the strong style. Strong style, for the most part, just so people know.
Bomb. 2, 3.
Whoa!
Tillman.
Are you kidding me?
The passion of the lucky kid.
I called it way too early.
Wow. Spent the entire match getting the crap beat out of him, and then pulls out a sunset bomb last second. 11 minutes on the dot.
Wow, I'm shocked. We have the best upsets in these matches.
We really do.
And when we say upset, we don't mean like, oh, that was disappointing. We're just like, that came out of freaking nowhere.
Yes. That was the... maybe it's time, because we haven't done this in a while, to kind of explain what it is that we're doing here.
Oh, that's true.
Which is that we took... every year, Pro Wrestling Illustrated puts out the PWI 500, which is a ranked list of the 500 best wrestlers in the world.
It is a kayfabe every promotion. Speaking of kayfabe.
Yes, entirely kayfabe, based on wins and losses, results, championships won, main events, that sort of thing throughout the course of the year.
You know.
So what Mike and I did, because we're insane, is we took
This
that
is all
list.
you. Don't think that I
That's
just made it.
fair.
I made it look the way it looks. You just thought of the idea, and you've been
But
the one who's been making the
also came
wrestlers.
along for the ride. When
That's
I
true.
asked,
Because I wanted an excuse to just watch more wrestling.
So we took the 500 and put them in a big tournament bracket, seeded 1 to 500,
Single elimination.
single elimination. So every week on this show, we're doing 10 or 11 matches.
At one
and
point,
we
you really
are
wanted to
whittling
do
the 500
round robin.
down.
You wanted to do round robin at one point, and I was just like, "Are you insane?"
That
We'll
was
be
a thought
We'll
I
be
had.
doing one list for several years if we if we try to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, that idea got scrapped pretty quick. That was a drawing board idea. So anyway, circling back to what we were talking about with upsets, on this year's list, Tom Lawler was number 59. Tealman was number 454.
That
So-
is a huge.
When we say it's an
gap.
upset, that's a massive
No,
upset.
we mean it, folks. We mean
Yeah.
it.
There's a reason we usually start with a big star in the opening match, because it's expected to be kind of a squash in favor of the higher seed.
Yeah.
That did not wind up being the case, and now Tealman moves on to face the winner between O'Shea Edwards and Big Shotty Lee Johnson.
In the words of our current president several years ago, as he thought he was not mic'd, this is a big deal. But we are now.
Just gonna say, come on, man.
I feel like that he was just like, God damn it, Joe. But now we are going to see the man with the tightest tees in the game. I can't do that peck pop for the life of me one day,
No.
but I would
No.
like to. But he's got the dimple smile. He is a ninja karate master. And he is going up against a very, very, very hardcore wrestler.
Yes. Mickey Knuckles scares me in a very real way.
She is awesome. And I have seen her and had the privilege of being at shows for ring announcing where she has been on them. And every time I have walked away just going like, oh, she hurt them. Oh, she hurt them bad.
Yeah. She is also from the next town over from where my parents grew up.
No kidding.
She is a native of Clarksville, Indiana, which is the kind of the arch nemesis of Jeffersonville, which is where my folks are from.
Shake ya, I'm Honda, boy.
That's right. Yes. Because the tree was haunted.
There it is. Simpson references. Shout out us
Mickey
for that.
Knuckles, a deathmatch legend, won the Hardcore Deathmatch Challenge tournament at ICW Wisconsin.
Also,
does a lot
if
of
you may,
intergender wrestling, which is what got her on this list, and not. There's
you
also
may
a
also
women's list.
recognize her from her TNA wrestling days under the name of
Moose.
Moose.
Yep, not that Moose.
Not that Moose. I won't go into detail as to why they thought it was clever to name a woman who goes by Mickey Knuckles and change her name to Moose.
Got to keep in mind this is a promotion that called itself TNA.
Then this was like
many years.
the last wild horse days of Dixie Carter, just doing everything she could to hold on to control.
Also, I didn't notice until I saw her in action, but this edit is missing some textures.
She looks like Raven right now.
She does look like Raven. She also has a hole in her face.
I thought that was face paint.
We'll call it that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got green screen face paint on, so it's
Why not? I mean, she
in
may
this-
actually have gotten a hole in her face during like some match.
It is a distinct
There's no
possibility.
question.
She landed on a saw blade and just
Good
ripped
Lord.
a chunk out of the side of her face.
The all ego Ethan Page, currently under the unfortunate tutelage of Dan Lambert. Decide whether you want, if I'm being kayfabe or not, about my thoughts on him. But I am a big fan of Ethan Page. I thought him and Josh Alexander in the North were a fantastic tag team
Absolutely.
in Impact Wrestling. I kind of wasn't too, like, on board with, like, his weird sort of trying to take the YouTube show stuff that he did and put it onto TV. Because I just felt like it was too much of a personality clash, and it just didn't really work for me. But, you know, he took that personality then and upped it when he went to AEW, which was perfect, because that's kind of like what now he's at a good spot where he's just like, this is exactly the type of performer he needs to be.
Yeah. And he put on a killer match with Christian Cage on Friday.
I liked it. I don't know. There was like some buzz where people were just going, it was all right. I'm like, I have not seen one bad Christian Cage match in AEW so far.
Hasn't had one.
No, I don't think.
I'm really excited. I was excited.
The guy knows how to work a TV match. There's no question.
Yeah. He's been doing it, at a very high level for 2.5 decades at this point now.
It's the reason why he's in the ladder match, because more than likely he's going to be the agent for that match.
Yes. Yeah, he's calling that match ahead of time and as it happens, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Which is not to say that, somebody else couldn't. Ooh, pedigree from...
But I mean, when you have Christian, you go and use him for ladder matches, for sure.
Absolutely.
Even as an on-screen talent, even if he wasn't involved in the match, I'm sure that he would help put that match together.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I love what they're doing with that match of...
It's a hoss fight.
When you have a match like this, it's high flyer, high flyer, high flyer, high flyer, one hoss.
Right.
One big guy to be kind of the base for some insane power move. But in this match, you've got
You have technically no high flyers. You have two guys who can and occasionally do, but they don't because it's their style, and they save those for when, pedigree!
No, pedigree by Mickey.
I almost called her Moose. Even Page with a Uranagi. But like this whole ladder match, Face of the Revolution match, is just as our previously mentioned Big E would say, big boys slapping meat.
Slapping meat. No, well, there's going to be a lot of slapping meat and slapping steel in that match.
I cannot wait to see the supremely articulate and wonderfully educated Keith Lee.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeet someone out of the ring.
Ricky Starks is going flying.
Either him or Orange Cassidy.
Or Orange Cassidy.
I would love to see a spot where, like, Cassidy puts his hands in his pockets, gets gorilla pressed off, and thrown off somebody into the room.
Honestly, I imagine that's probably going to happen.
I hope so.
Almost I can imagine, like, the other four all fighting on the floor, and it's just Orange and Keith in the ring.
Yeah.
And Orange looks at Keith, like, gestures with his head, puts his hands in his pockets, and just
let's go fly.
Keith to yeet him over the top onto everybody else.
And then Keith Lee does a tope up at the top.
Yes, yeah. After they've all wiped out,
he's saving his high flying spots for this match. Yes. For sure, because like people know he can do it, but he hasn't, and that's smart.
He hasn't needed to.
I was still kind of hoping that he would keep the Spirit Bomb as his finisher. He's been doing that like weird sort of like attitude adjustment power slam combo, which is cool, but to me that feels more like an additional signature move than a finisher, because like it's when people
really
bounce off that Spirit Bomb,
it's really similar to Sean O'Hare's old finisher, the Widowmaker, which is a fine move. Ooh,
I mean, we're not telling you anything you don't already know.
That's right. Man, there's a missed opportunity.
That character. They tried to do it again with Karrion Kross.
Yes,
and that didn't happen.
Well, yeah, and then you have him lose his debut and come out dressed like Dolph Lundgren's He-Man,
and then Vince says, "Oh, it didn't work out. Sorry." But maybe if you gave him something like to work with, or like a chance.
Yeah.
You can do that with any talent still. That Pat McAfee interview was a joke.
Yes.
Like, he even said, like, I'm disappointed in some of my own family, to be honest. I was like, what?
Mickey pulls
off Knuckles.
Another upset. We're 2 for 2 on the upsets.
You know what? I'm not going to say it's an upset because I really like Mickey Knuckles. Ethan Page needs to be taken down a peg or two. So, good on you, Mickey.
Yeah. I agree, but also I'm really not looking forward to the Dan Lambert promo on this whole situation.
Oh yeah, well there's a reason he's banned from midside, ringside.
Yeah, and that's we were talking about the kind of the rules of the tournament to begin with. There's nobody has any seconds at ringside.
Nope.
There are no managers. Interference is off. We've got the Japanese 20 count at ringside instead of the traditional American 10.
And it's more so we've been respecting a lot of the rules of different promotions, just kind of bringing in a mishmash of sorts.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still waiting on the day when our current favorite promotion, DDT, decides to let us sanction an official Iron Man heavy metalweight championship match, which potentially either of us could become winners. The stream itself as an entity can be a winner of that match. Somebody watching the stream could technically end up becoming a winner.
That's right.
Or one of our many digital avatars of DDT talent could become the champion. And I think it would be amazing. But, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I went back and I watched that gauntlet for the Iron Man heavy metal that we were talking about.
DDT Universe, by the way, worth the purchase, everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
I would say go out of your way to get that streaming service.
Yeah, because it's not just DDT. It's also Noah. It's Tokyo Joshi Pro. It's Ganbare.
See, your Japanese is so much better.
I try. I used to work at the front desk of a hotel here, suburban Nashville, and there's a huge Nissan plant not far from here, and then also the corporate headquarters of Nissan. The North American corporate headquarters is in Franklin, Tennessee, which is very close to here. And so we would get a lot of
that about you.
So we would get a lot of the executives would come into town. Every week. It was the same handful of dapper Japanese gentlemen, and so I never really learned much of the language aside from being able to call them by their name and have it not sound like a terrible accent. It was probably still a pretty terrible accent, but I did at one point have one of their translators tell me, like, "Your Japanese is very good." Like, my Japanese is limited to Shinsuke Nakamura.
That's basically how I was learning.
Misawa.
Watching New Japan Wrestling and listening to the names.
Yeah.
I love the announcing, the ring announcing of New Japan wrestlers, because you get, in Japanese you say the surname first, and so when I would hear Nakamura, Shinsuke, I was just like, who is this guy? Because I need to watch everything. And I was like, that's really good hype.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Japanese names, we've got Pro Wrestling Noah's Katsuhiko.
Hey,
whoops.
I did.
We
Stop
both
that.
went for that
Stop
at
that.
the same time. And Katsuhiko Nakajima against the NWA's Odinson.
We have a living god in our coming to our ring. I've recently gone to see Odinson, his matches online. You want to talk about big beefy boys? Holy cow! This guy is huge.
282. One half of the tag team, The End, with him and Mike Perro are the two halves of that team. And Nakajima,
just like Thor, not going to team with Loki.
Yes.
Not going to team with Loki. Why would he? He hates his brother. I love that they carried some stuff of actual traditional Norse mythology over to the MCU. Like they could have just easily said, "Oh, that was just a story. We're all aliens, whatever."
Yeah.
No. Everything you've heard from Norse is real.
Yeah.
But we're also from a space.
Right. Yeah. It's all of the stories were the Norse people trying to explain the science fiction that they didn't understand. But all of it happened.
Yes.
Just not in the way that they understood it at the time.
So Odinson, known for his big power moves, he also uses the F10, much like Wardlow. He's got a powerful lariat, spinebuster, backbreaker. This man is not about flash.
No, he's very much in the power game. Very much a Wardlow type. Like FTR says, no flips, just fists.
Exactly.
But he will also pick you up and throw you around, as we're seeing with Nakajima-san, who unfortunately is giving up 7 inches and 73 pounds in size. Nakajima, the leader of the Congo faction in Pro Wrestling Noah, long-time veteran, actually peaked on the PWI 500 at number 49 back in 2006. Came in 155 on this year's list. He's actually never rated lower than 226. He's always been in the top half of the list.
That's a pretty good accomplishment to like have.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of independent wrestlers, it is a badge of honor for the most part to be on this list and to be recognized for the work that you put in. Obviously, when you're in the top 10 or top 5, more than likely you're in the major televised promotions.
Yeah.
I think there's only been a handful of occasions where the number 1 has been a North American talent. Most of those being New Japan wrestlers. Oh God, those knees to the face.
In fact, I'm gonna pull up the. Nope, that's not what I want.
But I have friends who've been in indie wrestling for a long time, and every time the 500 would come out, they just kind of like, oh, hey, you made the list, congrats, or oh, cool, you got ranked higher, good job, like people got some eyes on you, that's awesome. There obviously are still some really stupid, petty people that can be in any business you find, where they take the rankings a little too seriously. Those people I tend to work with. Usually we're on the lower end of the numbers. Not to say that they don't deserve to be on it, but like, it's a work, brother.
Right. Yeah, this is an entirely kayfabe list.
Yeah.
I do have the list of all the top 10 from every year. You were talking about how the number 1 is always from one of the top promotions. The only exception I can really see, and it depends on how you want to look at it, was TNA a top promotion in 2010? Yeah, probably.
I would say
AJ Styles was
like,
number 1
because it was a televised promotion,
right? So really, the only outside of the big American promotions were 2017 and 2018 when Okada and Omega won it in back-to-back years.
Okay.
Other than that, it's been a major American promotion, number 1 every year. Hulk Hogan, Sting, Bret Hart, Diesel, Shawn Michaels, Dean Malenko in 1997 because they couldn't decide on who the best wrestler was, so they picked the best technical wrestler.
Ah, okay.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Brock Lesnar, Chris Benoit, Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, Triple H, AJ Styles, The Miz, CM Punk, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Kazuchika Okada, Kenny Omega, Seth Rollins, John Moxley, and then Omega again this year.
That was a weird year when Cena was named number 1 because the cover was just blank.
Yeah, it was weird. I and I looked for that issue everywhere and I could not see it.
It's strange how that happens.
Yeah.
You ever hear the story of actually how that came? Oh, there's the F10. Never mind that.
As we finish talking about 2.9.
Oh!
Kicks out of the F10.
Just reminded me of Blazing Saddles. Never mind that shit. Here comes Mongo.
Oh, no, I don't watch Blazing Saddles again. The sheriff is near?
Let's. There's only so much that.
That's as far as I'm going with it. Spinning heel kick from Nakajima, sticking and moving, and he just walks right into a neck breaker from Odinson.
I mean, if you're gonna, if someone asks you to fight a god, you say no.
Yes.
when you say you are when you Odinson, I mean, like, it's obviously one of the lesser known, probably many children of Odin. Let's face it, him and Zeus got around.
Yeah.
I think Odin was more faithful than Zeus was. Zeus had like eyes on everything. There it is, an F10. 2 F10s equals an F20. So this is absolutely an act of God.
Another kick out from Nakajima.
So I guess those kickouts are miracles. Oh, there's the spine buster that we were talking about.
Nakajima hanging in there like a trailer park in Oklahoma. Getting the ever-loving crap beat out of him. Oh!
Ooh!
Gets him out of the full Nelson.
I guess it wasn't full enough.
No, that was a partial Nelson. And another, we're up to 15 now. Or
certainly
30.
Was not a babyface Nelson.
1,
that's babyface Nelson.
And Nakajima goes down. That's 3 straight, not going to call them upsets, lower seeded victories.
That was a well-fought match, though.
Yes.
Good job, Odinson. All hail. A drink to thee. We praise. Odinson. You gotta love the fact that this man has decided to just be like, I'm a god.
Yeah. Look at me. Trying to tell me I'm not.
God, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, sir.
No, I certainly won't. That's the fun thing about our show is that we really do run the gamut on just all sorts of talent and styles clashes. Not styles clash. I always hate when like wrestling uses like a common term that
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at the impact that. Oh wait, no, I'm not talking about that show. Or like, like SmackDown is the most unique title for a wrestling show.
Yes.
Nitro, it's not a common, used term. Yeah. Then there's shows like Thunder. Or the many syndicated dark match shows that WWE would have. We talked about that last week, I think, like Jacked, Shotgun Saturday Night, Metal, Livewire, and then they just had like Saturday morning shows, which were awesome. I meant to say Beat Noah. Excuse me, Katsuhiko. I should say Odinson defeated.
Yes.
Noah. Sorry. We like to make sure all of our stuff is as accurate as possible.
That's right.
We take care of our booking and our long-term storylines.
Certainly try, at least. So we know, based on that result, Odinson will now face the winner between El Desperado and Jessica Troy in round 2.
I will say, I do not envy Gato whenever he has to book a tournament like G1 or currently what's going on, the New Japan Climax. By the way, my number 1 pick, as it is every time he's in the tournament, is the man with the most devastating version of Tour of the Islands, the enforcer of the United Empire, and probably a guy that I have just loved seeing progress more and more and more, Jeff Cobb. And I hope, Jeff, if you're watching, thank you. But, I'm rooting for you, and I hope you at least make it to the semifinals this year.
Not gonna lie, I fully expect you to say Toru Yano. But
gotta love Toru. Yano is the best sellout there is in pro wrestling.
Yes, indeed. All right, we want to head to the ring for match number 4.
Here we go.
Let's do it. I'm clicking the button.
I'm doing Twitter. I'm gonna stick with Twitter this time and just you take care of StreamYard. I got this.
So first out is the number 347 seed in our tournament, Masaaki Mochizuki. 5'9", 187 pounds, representing Dragon Gate Pro Wrestling. Did not have a ton of singles matches last year. Lots of tags, with his partner Don Fuji, teamed with Masato Tanaka a few times. But yeah, only, as far as I could find, 6 singles matches for Mochizuki during the evaluation period, which is July 1st to June 30th. But he's going in there against Arez, who we talked about MLW a lot, is a regular on MLW now, but is based out of AAA, and is one half of mixed tag champions in Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide, where he is one half of the mixed tag team champions with Chic Tormenta.
Asistencia, asesoría y administración.
Yes.
Which is Spanish for assistance, assessment, and administration.
Yes, that's right. So you can see why they call themselves AAA.
Yes.
That's not the most thrilling name for a promotion.
But if your car breaks down in the middle of a match, I'd be happy to help you.
They're the ones to call, yes.
Not the first to make that joke, but don't care.
It gives being jumped by AAA an entirely different meaning. So.
My AAA membership, I have been a member for a long time. Love the promotion.
That's right. Going back to the Blue Demon Jr. days. Card carrying AAA member.
Blue Demon Jr. helped me change a tire once, and it was like poetry watching him.
Man, if you have not seen what the legendary Rayo de Jalisco Jr. could do with a set of jumper cables, you have not lived, my friend.
And what are you doing? And what are you doing with your life?
RS, speaking of Blue Demon Jr., a trainee of the legendary luchador, who may lose his mask as part of the ongoing tournament in AAA. He is one of the 8 legends involved in that tournament, as is AAA's Pentagon Oscuro, who is
been hanging around with Spirit Halloween mascot Alex Abrahantes.
That's right,
Abrahantes,
the Observer from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
What is going on? Why did he I get it. He's enthusiastic. He's a mouthpiece. Did he have to go goth too? The answer is no.
Yes. I suppose the answer to that would depend on who you're asking. And Alex Abrahantes certainly said, "Oh yeah."
I'm not into the lore of, as my UK friends say, spooky bollocks when it comes to the House of Black and Death Triangle. By the way, think of it this way: you have 2 teams, Death Triangle, House of Black. Just let them be badasses.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Although I am a huge fan of how much Malachi Black clearly cares about the spooky bollocks behind his character.
I get it.
That the infection continues to spread a little farther every week.
And I understand the symbolism. I can get behind symbolism.
Yeah.
Symbology? The word you're looking for is symbolism. You ever see that movie with Willem Dafoe? Oh
no,
God, it is one of my favorite Willem Dafoe lines. I gotta find where it's from. It's from Boondock Saints.
I have seen Boondock Saints, but it's probably been 20.
Somebody asked him, so what's the symbology there? And he goes, symbology? The word you're looking for is symbolism. Symbolism. Just such a jerk explains it. It's so fantastic.
Willem Dafoe is great. My favorite Willem Dafoe story is, I'm trying to figure out how to do this in a family-friendly way, is that he is apparently very well endowed to the point where I don't remember.
What is this show?
He made an erotic thriller with Madonna back in the 80s or 90s, and they had to use a body double because they didn't think anyone would believe that was Willem Dafoe.
God.
I don't know if that story is apocryphal or if it's true, But either way, it is one of my favorite Hollywood stories. Is that the Green Goblin is packing?
It's the line before it that gets me. Wait, thought that was going to be 3 guys. Well, now that Duffy has relinquished his King Bonehead crown, I see we have an heir to the throne. But man, this I feel like I apologize for taking away from this match with another tangent, but we've gotten really like a traditional lucha libre moves versus hard striking and complex suplexes. Both of which kicking out at 2.9 for a bunch of them, so they are really, really putting each other to the test.
That spinning arm breaker again from Arez.
Arm breaker.
I
believe number 602.
Snaps off the Rana again. Again, just going in for those unique lucha pins.
What is that? Not a magistral cradle, which is the most... the most Spanish I get out of a saying is
rolling back again. That's sort of a variation on the sharpshooter, but he's like kneeling while he does it.
It was like a cloverleaf type leg lock grapevine. I've seen Daniel Garcia do that move.
Yes,
as a submission specialist, he is patented his wrapping you up and trying to break you down, much like Bryan Danielson, who apparently just wants to marry Jon Moxley and adopt 3 kids, of whom are all roster members of AEW. You can raise beautiful sons.
Yeah, I love that story. I'm a little bummed that it's going to end, or at least this version of it is going to end. Or is it?
Because they could become tag team partners.
Oh, I think, honestly, I think that's probably where they are going. I'm just bummed that the kind of the dance that they're doing currently.
Danielson's such a good heel. Oh, with the Dragon Suplex.
Dragon Suplex victory for Masaaki Mochizuki, and guess what? That's 4 lower seeds winning 4 matches.
What a
so
day.
Far. Not a good night for the higher seeds.
Not at all, but congrats to all those who are now unfortunately going to have to go into their next match with a chip on their shoulder.
Dragon Suplex. Not a ton of highly rated matches so far this week, which is kind of surprising because I feel like the matches have been good.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, nah, these are all just like...
What does an AI know?
Alright, so we got one more match before halftime. Let me look up who is supposed to be our referee so I can get that set up correctly. So I don't do what I did last time and have the same guy ref 3 matches in a row.
In the meantime, okay, so yeah, this is our 5th match before we head into our second half later. I have caught up on MLW, and I realized that Tajiri has not missed a step as the current middleweight champion. Awesome! I was very worried that I was like, oh, that's an interesting signing. I haven't heard from him in so long. I haven't seen. I wasn't sure what he could like. No, he still kicks like a mother.
I believe it.
It is awesome to watch, and more than likely, like if you realize you're on the card with Tajiri, you're like, oh boy, okay.
That's all right. I didn't need all these blood vessels.
I got a few teeth I can spare. That'll be all right. God, what other like indie shows that I've been? I started watching Camp Leapfrog because you have suggested it so much. It is so just wholesome, pure, lovely, fun wrestling.
It's so fun. It's like the spiritual successor of Chikara, just without all the baggage.
Yeah.
it's that level of fun. It's wrestlers go to summer camp, and arts and crafts time turns into wrestling matches.
It's so great. It's such a novel concept.
so fun. You got the evil promoter is the company that's buying the summer camp.
Yeah, it's like if Meatballs turned out like like all of a sudden they have wrestling matches in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's if Ben Stiller and heavyweights was a wrestling promoter. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it gets real silly. Have you made it to the losers
Wrestling
eat dog
should be.
food match?
I've only seen the first match, first show.
Okay.
Just because, in the words of 2.0, I wanted a taste of what to expect. I freaking love Matt Squarehead. Excuse me. He'll kill me if I.
Matt Parker.
Matt Parker. I'm a big fan of his just abrasive, just in your face for no reason. He's that guy at the bar that if he gets like accidentally shrugged, he'll start like taking his jacket off and be like, "You want to go?"
Yeah. Yeah. He's the obnoxious like cousin of the bride at the wedding who like all of
grabs the microphone in the middle of a speech.
Yeah. Yep. Like the DJ keeps getting this signals from grandma.
Please just cut him off. Just cut him off. Interrupts when they have like addressed the bride and the groom on the camera. All right, so I'm aware of Mr. Green here. I've seen his work before, but tell me about his opponents. And I mean, obviously, tell me about both, but still.
Right. Well, yeah, Anthony Green, was on 205 Live for a while as August Gray before returning to the Indies as part of the massive roster cuts. Keno is a 13-year pro from Pro Wrestling Noah. We're getting a lot of Noah representation tonight. Another member of the Congo faction. He was the GHC national champion for 8 months during the course of the evaluation period. He beat Nakajima to win it, who we saw earlier. He eventually lost it to Kazuyuki Fujita. It was the longest reign in the history of that title. He defended it against Kendo Kashin, who is a Japanese legend going way, way, way back. Had a really good match with Keiji Muto, who
love
who Keiji Muto is.
Oh yeah, just right now he's just a bulldog of a human being in the ring.
And if you've got the Wrestle Universe, the DDT Universe app, check out the Cyber Fight Festival from last June. He was part of a really excellent 12-person tag match where he teamed with Hoa, Nakajima, Manabu Soya, Neo, and Tadasuke against Akito, Kazusada Higuchi, Naomi Yoshimura, Sanshiro Takagi, Yukio Naya, and Yukio Sakaguchi. It was just kind of a DDT and Noah just like, here, have a whole bunch of guys. Let's see what you can do. It was kind of the get everybody on the card match, but it was also a lot of fun.
Who needs Rosetta Stone or Duolingo or Babbel when you have this show to teach you how to properly speak, these names?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I
would like to see. I think Anthony Green would be a good signing for Ring of Honor.
I think
the new ROH.
I could totally see a program with Anthony Green against like a Dalton Castle. I think they would their promos back and forth would be a lot of fun, and then they could both back it up in the ring once the bell sounded.
Anthony Green didn't. He was one of those guys where it's just like we're just signing. Not to discredit him, but he certainly was one of those people like we're just signing everybody so that All Elite Wrestling doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I mean, and there's a, you say it not to discredit, but honestly, I think that's to his credit. Like, he is the kind of
absolutely
guy that TK would have gone after. And, Triple H saw that. And, that's why, guys like him and Jake Atlas and Tony Nese and guys like that all got signed briefly. And I guess it worked because AEW wound up signing a bunch of other people, and now there's not really a spot for an Anthony Green.
No. Well, at this point, yeah. But that's another thing that Ring of Honor is going to be able to benefit from with this, is that you get the talent that you can basically pick from.
Yeah.
Who was still there at time of Final Battle. Several of which have already been officially signed to All Elite Wrestling.
Yep.
And then you have the ability now to, like I sent to you, my trades of who I would take from there, put on Ring of Honor to kind of build up so that when they are more seasoned, have some more reps, a bit of a higher profile, then you put them on All Elite, and let it be their foundation of sorts.
Yeah. Not Tracy Williams and
no, like those guys,
not that foundation.
Yeah, not that foundation. No. Which, according to Lethal, the promo at Final Battle was like, it wasn't ever a group, and I'm like, Jay, where are you?
Yeah, you had a logo.
You had a logo, man.
You were 100%.
Tell that to Jonathan Gresham. Like, he was all in for we're the foundation. Oh, we're not.
Keno with a kick to the knee to get out of that go behind. I don't think I've ever seen that counter before.
What's the craziest counter you've ever seen in wrestling?
In actual wrestling or in video game wrestling?
No, in IRL.
Huh. The most memorable one, but it's because I saw it when I was young, so it made an impact, was Shawn Michaels reversing British Bulldog superplex into a crossbody to win the Intercontinental title. But, gosh, best counters or weirdest counters. I don't know, I'd have to think on that for a while. Does one come to mind for you?
Two of my favorites both involve RKOs. The first one
the Evan Bourne.
The Evan Bourne one, and then WrestleMania 13, Undertaker versus Randy Orton, from the chokeslam into the RKO, a spot that I called, hoped, wishing would happen when I was with my friends, and then it did happen. I was just like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I also liked, I think one of the most... It's not so much a counter, but it's just an amazing sequence. The infamous Matrix fight between Amazing Red and Low Ki, a very early Ring of Honor show, where they went strike for strike, and legit was like Neo versus Agent Smith fight, and it was amazing. But you can look up online, like on YouTube, best pro wrestling counters, and you will see just feats of Adam Cole super kicking Ricochet after he Asai moonsaulted off the well, not Asai, but just moonsaulted. Yeah. God.
Shawn Michaels super kicking Shelton Benjamin out of the air.
Which was part of the opening sequence of Raw for the longest time.
Yeah.
Anything between Ricochet and Will Ospreay. The match that permanently pissed off Jim Cornette. I almost said Jim Crockett.
It was the match that broke Cornette, yeah.
Yeah, it really was the thing that made him like, I give up! I don't like wrestling anymore. Yeah. Unless they pay me.
Yes. Or there's a chance they might pay me at some point.
Who's willing enough to buy off my name? Sami Zayn trying to do the dive in between ropes DDT, and then Cesaro European uppercutting him to cut him off.
Yep. Same as the was it Jericho hitting baseball swinging a chair into Benoit's head as he did a tope.
Yeah.
That's not a move we look back on fondly, but at the time it was
it's just fun to see why wouldn't you do that? Because some spots are, you're gonna have to catch them in order to effectively do the move, and you have to find a way to suspend disbelief on it.
Right.
But other times it's just Kurt Angle was always good. Kurt Angle was always good with finding a fun way to counter into the ankle lock. because he involved his amateur wrestling and Olympic wrestling style into it. There's a great one where Mark Henry's going for a World's Strongest Slam, and Angle just wriggles out of it and just turns it into an ankle lock.
Oh, PK from Keno.
Then there's, of course, like any RVD Jerry Lynn match.
Yes.
You want to talk about like Matrix fight sequences? Those are very much in that.
And they would always top it the next time
because
they remember what happened in the previous match and learned from it and developed new counters, which is something that you just don't see. AEW is good at it, but like, you know, how many times have the same? I forgot to.
Hey, even in the live stream, we can do the Dual Shock.
Yep, I wasn't paying attention and didn't. Usually, I've been pretty good about just touching a button to make sure that the controller stays awake. But I forgot.
No, it's all good.
It is the longest match of the night so far, though.
You know what counters I love is when it's a no-sell into a signature move. I can't remember who it is, but it was a women's match. It was a singles match. I feel like it was in ICW or overseas. Mm-hmm. She went into a suplex, no-sold the suplex, and then rolled it into a the clutch that Roman's been doing lately with like the body scissors.
Oh yeah,
that front face lock one. It was just so cool to just see like
even less prettier from AG.
Even less prettier.
yeah, that's.
I love that.
That's what he calls it.
That's fantastic. But yeah, you can get some really cool like sequences out of when you expecting the unexpected with the signature spot.
Brainbuster, they go to the floor now. Ooh, Bulldog on the floor by Anthony Green.
I feel like I feel like they may have repeated this spot, but when Moxley faced Brody Lee when he had his title defense against him, I think they did the fun, a little like harder hitting version of him ducking the discus clothesline and going into the double R DDT, and instead of just like the regular like quick one, like he picked him up.
Yes,
and
so almost like a brain buster version.
God, it was beautiful.
Speaking of Brody, did you see the new line of toys Jazzwares rolled out last night?
No.
We
got a roll up.
They announced, and that did it.
Hey!
Most devastating finisher.
I made sure to catch it this time, so I wouldn't miss it. It is one of the most devastating moves in all of professional wrestling. A surprise roll up. Wow, way to go.
Anthony Green makes it 5 for 5, and there's 100% rating.
There we go.
There it is. Took us 5 matches, but we got there.
Are they like other
7 seconds?
Are they like other wrestling sites where it's like if it's a long match, it's automatically good?
Not always.
Nah.
For example, the longest match, or the second longest match of the WrestleMania that I attended was Michael Cole against Jerry Lawler.
Oh, good God.
That was not the second best match on that card. It was certainly not. But anyway, yeah, so Jazzwares... It
was a match.
it happened, yeah, for quite a while. Jazzwares announced the new line of AEW figures yesterday. And, it was, obviously there's another Jericho and there's another Kenny and there's a Taz, there's a Brian Cage, there's a Wardlow. But the one that I think is the coolest is there's a 2-pack of Brody and -1.
Nice.
And it's very cool. Like they're like to scale. So Brody's massive, and Brody Jr. is not. But he's got the mask and he's got the body paint. Awesome. And,
is there an accessory of being able to throw papers?
No, but
that was always my favorite.
Yeah, that's the most common comment I saw on Twitter was like, "Is his hand big enough to put some paper in?"
That thing, every time he did that with Evil Uno, I was such a fan.
Yes.
By the way, great way to use the curse from Danhausen when Evil Uno is just like, I'm evil! And Danhausen is like, I'll show you evil. All right, well, that has been the first half of our show. And we will come back in 5, and then we'll talk about our predictions for Revolution tonight, and continuing more, and a very cool main event is coming your way, so stick around. Pro Wrestling Simulated will return. We'll see you soon. We're live, pal.
Dinosaurs. So yeah,
did you
I
know
spent
that?
that entire.
Did you know that Impact Sacrifice happened?
I didn't.
Yeah, I caught a replay of it earlier.
Sorry.
The reason whenever I bring up Sacrifice, of course, I only think of Scott Steiner. The Scott Steiner math is just the best math.
Yeah.
Because any if you haven't seen it, of course, it's infamous at this point. Because if you put the numbers together, it spells disaster and sacrifice. He told people that numbers spell disaster.
Right. Because
that in and of itself, and watching Petey Williams try not to die laughing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just those great quotes that Scott Steiner has had. Well, you see, I come from a highly educated university, so when I come out here to speak to these white trash, I gotta dumb myself down.
They say that all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Samoa Joe, and you can see that statement's not true. See, normally
here's the thing. Before we go on, I recommend people watching the typography video version of it.
Yeah,
because it has the purposeful misspellings because of just the way that he said things.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another great one. This is from a debate he did with Chris Nowinski on an episode of Raw, April 14th, 2003. See, throughout my career, I've wrestled a lot of countries. Scott Steiner has faced entire countries. He didn't correct himself.
Who can forget his legendary battles with Cyprus?
Frankly, I'm more partial to him against Sri Lanka.
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
It was a shoot, apparently.
Yeah, I mean they were
ready to shoot him.
If you've ever wanted to see somebody belly to belly an entire island, that's the match for you.
The reason I bring up Sacrifice, not just because of our favorite Scott Steiner promo ever, which I think eventually became everyone's favorite Scott Steiner promo ever, but I was listening to the commentary team now of Matthew Rualt and Tom Hannafan, formerly. Oh God!
Aiden
now I can't.
English and
Aiden English and Tom generic last name.
What were they calling him? Phillips.
Tom Phillips. Good God! I mean, they gave the most Irish person in the world the name of Kevin Patrick for his. It might be his real name. I don't know, but it was a good show. I have become a Lady Frost fan. I think
Lady Frost is great.
She is so awesome to watch. It was really good. Congratulations to Tasha or Tasha Steeles.
I think it's Tasha.
Tasha Steeles becoming the new Knockouts World Champion. Hard fought match, fantastic. Not so big a fan of the Honor No More storyline that's been going on. It just kind of feels like another invasion angle. Okay, I mean the talent is great, but it's just kind of like and I don't necessarily know if this means that they are signed with Impact and they're not going to be coming to Ring of Honor. I mean, it feels like okay, yeah, they probably are signed to Impact because they wouldn't be regularly wrestling that much unless they were. So they're kind of like now off the table in terms of talent that you can see being exchanged perhaps to AEW. Jake Something and Trey Miguel had a great X Division Championship match. Trey Miguel retained, but Jake Something is now a free agent.
Interesting.
And if a man who looks the way he does, I feel like he would be great for WWE, but I fear what they would do with him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of also I don't need to see more people just jumping to all elite wrestling again. I mean, granted, Tony Khan can do whatever he wants. He can sign the whole world.
Sure.
I don't know. does whatever he wants. I personally just feel like there's a lot. It's too many slices, as TikTok has told me. But jig something wherever you go. I hope it's something good. Yeah. The Knockouts Tag Team Championship changed hands. The Influence is now the Knockouts Tag Team Champions, defeating the Inspiration. You can't quite do the same. Can't quite do iconic.
No. Yeah.
Brian Myers had a hysterical segment selling his. He had a merch table at the arena. Like, this is Impact. You don't have like merch tables usually for your own people. And he pulled like the full PWG indie move and was like, you know what? I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna sell my action figures.
That's funny.
Not like his personal collection, obviously.
Right.
No, his action figures of himself that have been created over the years. It was great. I am so happy to see that like the former Big Cass, now W. Morrissey, has just kind of like really changed everything. He is like he is the Kevin Nash like just before Diesel turned face, in that cool like oh, I love watching you be you, man.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Diesel fan from
summer of 1994.
Oh, such a great year.
Yep.
Jonah got a win over PCO. It was, first of all, PCO did a top rope Hurricane Rana to Jonah.
PCO is insane.
It's legit like Frankenstein's monster brought back to life.
Yeah.
That man has been a wrestler for 35 years. People who've been wrestling for 35 years do not do top rope Hurricane Ranas.
No. Especially when you're, he's 280 pounds?
Yeah.
Big boy.
I almost thought you said 280 years old. Like, you might as well.
I mean, he might be.
I really do legit feel like, not just the pacemaker that saved his life and became, like, truly revitalized him, which is legit what gave him a second chance at a career. But I feel like they also threw in some extra new parts.
Right, yeah.
It just made him a certified pre-owned wrestler. Alex Shelley and Jay White had a great match. Jay White has just been killing it lately. What a great North American run he's been having. Yeah. A lot of people forget that he did have one for his excursion with Ring of Honor before he came back to New Japan as Switchblade. But this is like a second, a reintroduction to Jay White that really didn't get enough attention with Ring of Honor the next time. Deonna Purrazzo retains her AAA Women's World Championship and her, oddly enough, her Ring of Honor World Women's Championship. So the fate of that belt will be interesting to see. Yeah. If that is a Forbidden Door type story they may be doing. The Violent by Design it defeated the Bullet Club, defeated the Good Brothers, who had just won recently the Tag Team Championships. So that was a bit like a legit upset that was going on. Joe Doering is now holding the championship with Eric Young, who is a several-time tag team champion in that promotion in the various incarnations that it's been in.
Yes.
And Moose retained against Josh Alexander, who everyone thought was a free agent, but he re-signed a multi-year deal with Impact, and he has come back, and he is on his way to face Moose at Rebellion for the World Championship. I love Josh Alexander. I truly love his matches. He is intense. He is all the things I loved about Kurt Angle in his prime, and the World Championship that was stolen from him by Moose. How dare you, Moose? That man sat in front, had his family in the front row. You take your opportunity then? Shame. Shame. Although I love Moose. If anyone from Impact could be signed to WWE and be successful, I feel like it's Moose.
Oh, yeah. 7 times Eric Young has held tag gold in Impact.
Not sure if that's a record, but it's certainly up there.
And I'm not sure how they count that because it's 2 times as the NWA tag titles,
Right.
4 times with the current version, the Impact
Right.
tag titles, and then he was also a 1-time Knockouts tag champion with ODB.
Yes, but he also did win the world title too.
He did. Yep.
Briefly had like a kind of like
twice.
We're gonna try to do the Daniel Bryan story here with Eric Young.
Yes.
But it was fun.
Yeah. He also
I'm
won
a big fan of EY.
the TNA World Cup in 2014.
That's right.
That's
Something I wish they would bring back for Impact. Was the World Cup.
I would love to see the World Cup, or even just like the X Cup.
Yes, the X Division. The X Cup was awesome.
That was one of the first things that got me interested in TNA on when they were still on Fox Sports. Was the first X Division Cup. Let's see. I'm looking for,
because that's when they were really like using a lot of the Ring of Honor talent and the East Coast indie top faces and I don't mean baby faces. I mean like high profile wrestlers. Great exposure for all of them. But there's an interesting thing going on. Obviously, Cody Rhodes no longer part of AEW. Him and Brandy have left. Under seemingly good terms with TK, whose deal didn't work out.
Yeah,
I think that it's. I feel like it's all coming down to a creative control thing, and probably expecting what he knows what he's worth.
Yes.
We'll put it that way, and it's true. Cody's a draw. He's absolutely done well in any promotion that he has worked post his WWE career.
Right. Yes.
And all eyes now are on Cody if he's going to show up in WWE. And there's been conflicting reports as to whether he has already signed or he is in negotiations. I think if it is a negotiation thing, it's him saying, I don't want to just get re-signed and be, taken care of financially, and then you guys just have me on the mid-card for like 2 weeks, and then I'm running after the 24/7 title in some sort of storyline.
I don't want to be EC3.
Yeah, he wants to be known for his value. Like it's not so much that it's just he's not living off of the Rhodes name, but it is a legacy that he is living up to.
Yeah.
And there's respect that comes with that, and there is tenure that comes with that, especially my friend was joking that Cody is slowly putting the pieces back to the throne he smashed with a hammer, just to make sure that Triple H is okay. Yeah. By the way, my heart is breaking more and more for Triple H's just like quiet dismissal from WWE lately. Thank God he's healthy. I'm happy for that.
Yes.
A man with 3 daughters and a legacy of work that he's. I think history will smile on Triple H for his work with the women's division in NXT. Probably the best women's wrestling in that time period. I mean, it gave us Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, all of the Asuka, and just so many that came out of that division. But I had a thought, and I've told you this before too, but if I was negotiating with Cody, I'd be like, listen, we know what people are saying about NXT. We know that this talent needs someone like someone who knows how we work, but can also give our network something to watch. I say give him NXT. Give him NXT and let him work a semi-full-time main roster.
Yep. Yeah.
They know he wants to be a booker. I mean, they know that, it was very clear that Cody's path in AEW, he was like, I'm retiring at 40, I'm then going to stick with my EVP position, and I'm going to help this promotion. And that was his path. Then the contract came up, and he was just like, I don't think I'm a fit for this anymore. And Tony Khan was like, we tried to figure out something, didn't work, shook hands, parted ways, it's all right. Could have ended a lot worse. Could have ended a lot worse. But if I'm trying to, not oust or beat the competition, but give a product worth competing with. And eyes are looking at young talent and NXT 2.0 is all over the place. Shawn Michaels and, let's face it, Bruce Pritchard are really just kind of like, what kind of stupid stuff can we make these kids do? And also teaching them the worst fundamentals of, like, I mean, Adam Cole is still victim, and so is Ruby Soho, of the shock WWE face of, you know, when they can't get that, like, the overacting. And I'm like, please shake that out of you. Please shake that out of you. You're better than this. So I was like, you know, I don't think at all it's going to happen. I do not think at all it's going to happen.
No.
I do think that he was supposed to be Brock's surprise opponent at Madison Square Garden tomorrow. And then he said, why would you feed me to Brock?
Right.
And then
that's not how I want to come back. Yeah.
It's not, I mean, it's cool to have a WWE match, a WWE title match in Madison Square Garden in the main event to return. But, like, let's face it, you're just going to have Brock destroy me.
Right. 4 weeks before WrestleMania.
4 weeks before WrestleMania, let alone.
Brock, yeah.
What do you, now, obviously, there's nothing founded in that whatsoever. That's just my own, like, kind of headcanon. What do you think is going on with Cody, and where do you think he is, where he's going to end up?
I genuinely, every time I think I know, the plan changes. Are
you saying when you think you have all the answers, he changes the questions?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, a lot of invocation of Roddy Piper lately.
I mean, when you do it right.
As well it should be, yeah. Honestly, at this point, I think Cody is perfectly content holding out for whatever the best deal is going to be, because he knows he's got Go Big Show. He knows he's got, you know, his cigar brand. Like, he's set. He doesn't need wrestling at this point. Wrestling helps.
Yeah.
But
he will always be a wrestler first.
Yeah.
He knows that.
But he's also not going to settle for anything.
No.
Now, if TK comes calling and says, hey, I want you and QT to run Ring of Honor for me.
That was my follow-up thought.
He might. If WWE said, we're going to give you NXT, would he do it? Oh, in a heartbeat. If he, you know, if New Japan decides that, hey,
you want to do the G1 Climax?
you want to be in the G1 Climax? Do you want to help us run strong? Yeah, you do that. Go to MLW, help them out. You can do that.
That's I think is going to be the dangling carrot for these promotions. Is we don't you have to appeal to his idea that he wants to be in charge of something. He wants to help the future of a promotion and not just be in it.
Right.
So the real selling point is how much control, not just over himself, are you going to give, but what is a follow-up when he is done wrestling, and he knows when he will be done. So yeah, I can see any promotion that is looking to sign Cody Rhodes. You're going to have to understand that when you do that, you're more than likely also hiring someone who's going to be in charge of your promotion somewhere down the line, either creatively or with branding or with any type of, he wasn't just an EVP just for title. Like he had that position because that's where he wanted to finish. I feel like I shared you the link, but I like Chris Jericho, but I think sometimes he embellishes a little bit. Whether he was offered the EVP position or not, it's really only Chris Jericho and TK know.
Right.
But
yeah, I don't know.
I've laughed at the fact that he tried to get GFY over the night that Jon Moxley just said it out loud for real.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's killed.
That's done.
Although he did recently, he
did
put in
use it
a
again,
copy request for sports entertainer.
Yes, he did. I would be very excited to see that actually go through and see Vince have to scram.
How's he going to dance around that one?
I did find the full list of the new AEW series. Eddie Kingston, Brian Cage, Thunder Rosa, Christian Cage, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, plus the ringside exclusive Brody and -1, a ringside exclusive Darby with a coffin, a ringside exclusive exploding barbed wire death match, Kenny and Moxley.
Now you can book it the way you want to.
And
complete with explosions that are underwhelming.
Yes. And they're doing a third series of Unmatched, which is the Dark Order. So it's Brody Lee, Uno, Grayson, Johnny Hungy, and Anna Jay.
Anna! Did you see on BTE, he was wearing a shirt that just said meme, and it's him yelling at Anna Jay?
Oh my god, no, I didn't see that. I have seen the meme of him yelling at
yes.
Anna Jay, but
he now has made a shirt out of it that just says meme, and it's a picture of them.
Fantastic.
Speaking of AEW, let's talk about tonight's card, Revolution. We don't have to go through all of them, but I figure let's talk about the matches that we're looking forward to the most. As you down a shot of energy.
Yep. Finish off a water bottle with the energy Mio. Punk and MJF.
By far the best storyline that AEW has ever been, and that may be some recency bias because Page and Omega have such a great build-up to what eventually was their final confrontation. But like in just terms of telling a story, A to B to C, and then twisting your expectations on it.
Yep.
Best storyline in probably the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
It's hard to top it.
Yeah, I was going to say, the last one I can think of was also a Punk story, and it was Punk Cena in summer 2011. Was the last time I can remember being this invested in a storyline, and even that wasn't so much about Punk and Cena. It was the genuine, like, is Punk gonna leave with the world title?
Yeah, which he wanted to. I mean, it would have been fun to see him pop up in different promotions with the WWE Championship.
And he did for 8 days before he showed up the following week on Raw, with a new hat. But
don't you see? It's the same CM Punk storyline.
And then he's
got a new hat.
Kevin Nash's cell phone. Speaking of missed opportunities, but Punk MJF, I think in ring, Page and Cole is going to be great. But I've been a little underwhelmed by the build, which is a shame considering literally in BTE canon, Hangman killed Adam Cole. 5 or 6 years ago.
By poisoning his energy drink?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
I think that's what it was, yeah. And it's going to be a very good match. Both those guys could go.
I feel like Page is going to definitely take the lead in terms of, like, letting Cole know, the expectation that a AEW main event has versus an NXT main event. Again, not to downplay Adam Cole's fantastic wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Because to me, like, unfortunately, I feel like the peak for Adam Cole was that match with Ricochet for the North American Championship. It was the last time that I feel he was allowed to do what he is fully capable of doing.
Yes.
And until eventually, like, it just kind of became, let's just top whatever they're doing over there. Do we see the official trios formation of probably what's going to be called Paragon with Red Dragon and Cole?
I feel like yes. I think the recent quote from TK about I want to do a trios title, but I want to wait till Kenny comes back.
Yeah, you're showing your hand there.
Is which, I mean, I think we all kind of suspected that was the case anyway, was that the first major feud in whatever trios division they're going to build is going to be the Elite against the Paragon or the Undisputed Originals or whatever you want to call it. Cole.
I feel like
and,
Paragon is
Rowan.
probably because of that one Kyle O'Reilly promo
Yeah.
where he really emphasized that word.
Yeah. So I suspect if Kenny is ready, that we will see his involvement in the aftermath of the main event.
But can he come back as a face? Because he said, and this was such a great detail, I haven't watched the footage of the match, and the Young Bucks were kind of like, okay, good, take whatever time you need, you don't have to watch. Because they basically cost him the belt when they realized, like, we can't do this anymore. Paige, you really are still, you mean a lot to us still. And it was such a powerful moment.
Yeah.
You know, and they have acknowledged that people watched the show. So it's not like, you know, they're going to be like, what, anything that doesn't happen in those 7 days doesn't exist.
Right.
I mean, Omega can take as much time as he needs so that he's 100%.
Yeah.
Because he was working at like 25 towards the end of that run.
And he was still putting on fantastic matches.
Exactly. So imagine what he is when he's all the way healed.
Yeah.
When his health bar is full.
So I don't think you can keep Kenny healed. As great a heel as he is, I think the second Kenny Omega returns, the crowd is going to cheer him. One way.
We agree, Jam.
Whether they're supposed to or not, they're going to. And I think AEW is gonna allow.
He's gonna get a hero's welcome when he returns. There's no question. I feel like the only thing that will keep him from being, if obviously he has to drop Don Callis. And I don't think Don Callis is coming back at any time. Yeah. So it'll be interesting because honestly, I would love to see a reunited Paige and Bucks because they were Ring of Honor 6-man tag champs. Yep. And if you get eventually Paragon versus Paige and the Bucks, you can somewhat there has to be some point where Paige and Kenny have that, like, you know, what's in the past is in the past. You've proven yourself to be the flag bearer of this promotion, Paige, and you deserve that belt. So, you know, let's be the elite again, and all four of them can go back to being like,
right,
this is us.
I want that. I will get it someday, but you're the man now.
You're the man now, dog.
But Matt and Nick and I, we're gonna go do this thing. You do your thing.
We've got business to take care of.
Yeah. So
because then you could get like Danielson again or Moxley again. Maybe Moxley is now Danielson's in the ear of Moxley because he's gotten his respect, and this is how you turn John heel. Because eventually that's what was going to happen.
I think what the eventual. I think Hangman holds the title most of this year.
Yeah.
Until either All Out or Full Gear, at which point I think he drops it to MJF.
It feels like that's what now. Who wins versus Punk and MJF? Because I cannot call this one. I legit cannot call it.
I think it could go either way. The only way, honestly, I think it's all going to come down to Wardlow.
Yeah.
Which is obviously what they've been building toward. Is
that slap on Wednesday? Oh,
what I'm picturing is Wardlow wins the
Sonic ring. I hope it's not a ring again. I really hope it's something else.
Yeah. If it is a ring, then I hope Claudio Castagnoli shows up and wins it just for the.
And grabs the brass ring.
Grabbing the brass ring.
Son of a. But there's a wild card, is there? Or did they already?
They've not announced one. They've said it's just these 6.
Okay.
But,
God.
I mean, if it is a brass ring, you gotta bring in Claudio.
I mean, oh, dude, you just blew my mind. Son of a bitch.
I'm still a little disappointed that there wasn't a Joker in the tag casino battle royale and it wasn't the Kings of Wrestling. But I
think that Hero has quietly retired.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
I could see him doing one more match to team with Claudio.
Is he still with NXT UK? Like, is he working as an road agent there? Or?
I think he's completely out of WWE at this point.
He would be a great, like, coach or road agent for WWE or producer for them if he decided to do that. But, you know, I don't think the Kings of Wrestling reuniting or any is in any future, because Claudio's up in age too. For you know,
Chris Hero is actually signed to Ring of Honor as a producer.
Okay, well, I guess, I mean, there is a possibility then.
Yeah,
all possibilities could be in the new ROH, or we could see Claudio go to the new Ring of Honor. To be fair, it's all that would be great. Again, that veteran of Ring of Honor being in a position to help the newer talent would be awesome.
Yeah, like
I really do not care about this 6-man tag of House of Black and Death Triangle. I hate to say it, but it's like I'm glad Eric Redbeard is, you know, formerly Eric Rowan, has got, you know, a spot.
Yeah.
I can't get into the goth stuff. Like, I liked Pentagon Dark in Lucha Underground, where he was, I don't care anymore, I'm just gonna break everyone's arm.
Right.
The flaunting, like, he's still doing all his dancing stuff, but he's just in all black, and I'm just like, okay, what did you do? What changed?
You got a shovel and you gave Alex a robe.
And it's great to see Buddy Matthews, you know.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. Here's when you talk about lore in wrestling and using it for storylines. Great example is MJF and CM Punk using real life story to set up this blood feud. What's not fun is thinking that people remember Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy in WWE and then carrying that over into a show where obviously Tony Khan loved ECW back in '96 and '7 because he blacks out those things so much.
Yes.
I mean, you saw that great. There was a moment where Malachi Black had his blackout moment, and then the lights went back up, and you still saw him going out of the ramp.
Oh no, I missed that.
And it reminded me perfectly of Mr. Burns throwing down the smoke, and then when the smoke is back, he just sees him walking out the corner of the room. Oh, I can't get into it. I want to see Hook kill QT Marshall, figuratively, obviously. That could be like a fun way to write him out. By the way, you can put Hook in Ring of Honor if you want to, but that man is the king of Rampage right now.
Yes. Yeah. Hook on Rampage is Goldberg on Nitro.
Yes.
Like that. Like, it reminds me so much of Goldberg's first pay-per-view appearance. I feel it was either Halloween Havoc or Super Bowl. I don't remember which one it was, but unadvertised match. Scott Armstrong is in the ring, or Brian Armstrong. One of the Armstrongs.
Many Armstrongs.
Brad, not Brian. Brian is Road Dogg. Brad Armstrong, I think, is in the ring, and the announcers are just like, "Well, what's going on?" And then, boom, boom, and Heenan just loses it. At this point, he's a Goldberg mark, and just doesn't care who knows it. And that's all it is. It's just a regular Goldberg squash in the middle of a pay-per-view. No announcement at all. But it's like, here's this guy that's just been killing fools on our weekly TV. Doesn't have any storylines, but
no one knows who he is.
Kill somebody here. And he did, did one of his Goldberg squashes, like 2.5 minutes. It's like, okay, this is a major star. And I feel like that's what they're doing with Hook. Is
absolutely,
you send him out there. He hasn't really had a competitive match yet.
He hasn't even taken a lot of bumps.
No, he just comes out, beats people up, chokes them out, and he's done.
Just like his dad.
Just like his dad. And that's exactly like you mentioned. How TK's obviously a fan of that era of ECW. Like, that was the Taz push to the match with Douglas.
Makes me wonder who's going to be his Sabu. Who's going to be the one who is just like, these two have never faced each other, and Hook is like, give me so-and-so. You know, who's going to be the one?
My theory, Ricky Starks. Because remember, Taz and Sabu were partners first.
Oh, yeah.
Before the split.
Just going up to his dad like, I want the FTW championship. Yep. Like, give me that belt.
Yep, I think I've earned it.
Oh, and that's a good theory.
I think it'll be Starks.
Final, and you think it's going to be Wardlow?
I think Wardlow wins it, unless they do a surprise and they bring in a 7th participant. I think it's Wardlow. I think that is the final nail in the coffin for the relationship between Wardlow and MJF.
Because eventually they're going to have him say, well, I don't work for you anymore. I got signed.
Yeah. And I think that Wardlow winning the ladder match, earning a shot at the TNT title, because they said that's what that's the reward for winning the match. So now he's got a contract with AEW, which leads to either MJF loses to Punk clean, no Wardlow interference at all, and MJF just gets jealous of Wardlow. They blow up. He fires Wardlow. Wardlow's like, well, screw you, I've got a contract, and beats the hell out of him. Or Wardlow helps MJF win against Punk, but then goes on to win the Face of the Revolution. MJF's victory is lessened by what his protege does on his own. Yeah. And you get a little Bret Owen action, just they're both heels instead of both baby faces. And that leads to the breakup.
Here's what I'd love to see. Still have Wardlow win. And then when MJF is looking for that moment to call out Wardlow, he will finally grow a conscience, take out Spears, who tries to be the accountability buddy, and then just be like, I don't need this. And just leave. Like, he doesn't have to, like, fight his way out. He can just, like... Because Spears already knows, this man could murder me.
Oh, yeah.
I love that face-off they had where Spears eventually just full, like, you saw... If you pause the exact moment, you can see where he wet his shirt. So, yeah, and then like eventually, I think it would be great for MJF to then, as a revenge, cost Wardlow the TNT Championship.
Yeah.
Because eventually I want it to become that Bryan Danielson wins the TNT Championship and holds it for 2 years straight. And just kills everybody on the roster for that. Pulls a Bob Holly. How about you give me the belt and I beat everybody?
Only in this case, he earned it. Because he's Bryan Danielson. The best wrestler in the entire world.
Truly. Absolutely. Bar none. And I say that without any irony whatsoever behind it. Or any bias. I just truly believe it.
Yeah. There's nobody in the business right now that's doing what Bryan Danielson is doing. Bell to bell and character-wise.
I love his flexing while doing the triangle lock. I love it. So, yes, check out... obviously, they don't need any promotion from us, but if you're watching it tonight, enjoy it. And also keep an eye out on the New Japan Cup, because Will Ospreay is facing Bushi on night 2, and I am psyched. But speaking of tournaments, let's go back into our tournament.
Let's do it. We already know that the winner of our next match is going to be facing Tioman, based on that earlier upset.
Way to go.
So yeah, let's head on down to the ring. We're talking about AEW. We've got a Cody Rhodes protege in this match. And
Shoddy
we've also got the big bad kaiju, O'Shea Edwards.
Remember Kaiju Big Battel?
Yes.
Got him. I missed that.
Good times. So Big Shotty Louis Johnson. I don't have an updated logo for whatever that group is now that Cody's gone. So
I think it's still Nightmare
Family.
Family because, Arn is still kind of the manager over him. I feel like, okay, so famously, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard were known as the Brainbusters in WWF. Why not have Shoddy Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson call themselves the Sharpshooters?
I like that.
Like, that's it. It works.
I was thinking the Enforcers, but I like Sharpshooters.
Because, like, there's no one using the Sharpshooter by name as a finisher.
No.
And they've been calling it the Scorpion Deathlock out of respect for Sting.
Right. I like it.
So there you go. Call them the Sharpshooters. You can have that one for free, Tony.
And O'Shea Edwards is one of those guys that'll be interesting to see what becomes of the AEW Ring of Honor stuff. Because O'Shea Edwards was a member of Shane Taylor Promotions in the final days of Ring of Honor, along with obviously Shane Taylor and
final days of Ring of Honor as it was.
As it was the old the version that ended at Final Battle.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what what becomes of the giant from Mount Vernon, 6'3", 271. Just a.
Sorry, I'm laughing right now because I can hear my son in the background just going da 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 da, and it is still a better promo than anything that WWE has written for like anybody lately.
That Roman promo last week was solid.
Well, that's because he knows how to deliver the material.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Roman is what they wanted Roman to be all along. He's just finally in the right alignment to do what they wanted him to do all along. But, whew boy, some of that other stuff coming out of WWE. I don't watch it weekly anymore. I just can't bring myself to. But I
listen to other people's interesting takes on recaps.
Yes, and I'll watch highlights on YouTube or whatever. But yeah, I just can't sit through 7 hours a week anymore on a show that I just don't care for. Yeah. But meanwhile, I have no problem sitting through 3 hours of AEW and 3 more hours tonight.
Yep. God, I can't stop thinking about your idea for Claudio to
grabbing the brass ring.
Grabbing the brass ring.
I really think if that is the way they're going, if that's what they're climbing for, you gotta have Claudio, at least for the image, even if he doesn't win, of him with his hands on the brass ring grabbing it. But I still think Wardlow's going to win. I think outside chance the big Ricky Starks push starts with him winning it, because I could see him going after the TNT title and doing some good stuff with it. Him and Sammy would be just awesome. Oh, just a big kaiju splash there from O'Shea Edwards. It's like, I'm not going to jump, I'm just going to fall down on you.
Like a building coming down from Godzilla attack.
Yeah. Appropriately, like what King Kong Bundy would do. Just like I'm just going to drop onto you. Another fellow kaiju wrestler.
That man was mythical. First wrestler for the main event of the first live wrestling show I ever went to. King Kong Bundy versus the Iron Sheik in Wildwood, New Jersey.
That's quite a main event.
The Iron Sheik did
that was not in 1987.
No,
when both of those guys could. It
was a fun match, but most of it was Iron Sheik in the beginning for the first 10 minutes, giving his Olympic weight challenge, to see if anybody could pull it off, and it wasn't until see, nobody can beat Iron Sheik, even King Kong Bundy. Did the whole spit on the floor. It was fantastic. And then King Kong Bundy comes out, tries to go for it. Sheik hits him from behind. Boo! They go back and forth. It was one of those great matches where you're like, oh, they did nothing. They literally did nothing in the match, and it was the best thing I saw all night.
Yeah, you go back and you watch some of those, the old WrestleManias, there were maybe like 6 moves in this entire match, and it went 13 minutes, and I was
Great
hanging on every
fundamentals.
second of it.
Great fundamentals.
Great fundamentals. Yeah. I think it was Cultaholic did I haven't gotten all the way through it yet because it is 5 hours long. But last year before WrestleMania, they did a ranking of every WrestleMania match from worst to best.
Oh, wow.
It's fantastic, the hour and a half I've seen so far. But there's like 350 some odd matches that they have to get through. So it's a lot of like the pre-show battle royal from WrestleMania 26. The pre-show battle royal for WrestleMania 29.
Yeah.
The women's battle royal for WrestleMania 25.
I love that move. That kind of like big swing inversion of the Boss Man Slam. Oh, especially when it's done by a big guy like that.
I think I've made this joke before that I wanted, when Rosie was doing his superhero in training gimmick, for him to call that move the fan, so that when the announcers called it, like, the SHIT has hit the fan.
There's no question they should have done that.
But they didn't.
Missed opportunity. Dude, you were just full of golden ideas today.
I've had that idea rattling around in my head since I was like 21 years old, back when Rosie was doing that gimmick, and still with us. But
a little too much peacocking by Lee Johnson in this match.
Lee is not doing a great job of staying on Edwards, which
not making the most of his minutes, as JR would say.
Yes. You're not getting paid by the hour, kid.
By the way, CM Punk just tweeted, first 3 rows will need plastics like a Gallagher show tonight.
Oh my god.
And then put a gif up of Gallagher smashing a watermelon into slow motion, just bleh. And if you have not watched the Greg Valentine versus Roddy Piper dog collar match, find it. It is available on the network. You can watch it. It's from a Starrcade 87?
That sounds right.
And it is brutal. And you think, there never could have been a level of violence in wrestling like this again, and this much realism to it. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see that tonight. It'd be brought to a whole new level.
It was 83. It was the
83.
For the Gold show.
Yes. Oh, so good, so good.
I
mean, just like every aspect of the promos, "Be My Valentine."
Yeah.
Like just it started with a handshake. It's gonna end with a handshake. It's just,
Yep. That and the way that they've been playing it out between Punk and MJF of calling back to that. Like Punk legitimately on Valentine's Day, pulling out the dog collar from the gift and be like, Max, be my Valentine.
Yeah. Using the old school promos of Punk.
Yep.
I'm a snake. And then even on Rampage when he said, I will become the monster to defeat the monsters. Just beautiful.
So good.
It's the symmetry in this. Yep. That's lore that I like. But Lee Johnson actually showing off a little bit that he's capable. I guess the American Nightmare training has worked out for him for the most part. I like Brock Anderson. I like it when he teams with him. Brock still needs a bit more like fluid to his movement.
A little bit,
because he's just a little too stiff. And he's not quite as bulky as his dad, even though he looks like a clone of his father from the old school TBS Superstation days.
Yes.
But then again, Arn Anderson has always looked like somebody's dad, no matter how old he is.
Yeah.
And that was enough. O'Shea, the big kaiju of a man himself, able to defeat with an interesting variation of a teardrop suplex chokeslam.
Yeah, I can't remember which of his finishers that is. The 47 Ronin? What are you calling it? It's just the Muso. They're giving it the Japanese name, not what he calls it. But yeah, that ends our streak of upsets. The higher seed actually going over in our first match of the second half. O'Shea, big bad kaiju, will now face Tillman in round 2. Right. Another just mid to upper 80s Ranked, though. Come on. Cut us some slack here. If it was in the dome, it would have got 100%.
Yeah, I think there might be some New Japan bias on the game's part.
All right, let's get this next match lined up, but it should be a fun one. Should be a good technical match here. Who's the referee?
Sorry, I got chewed out by management for eating a chocolate bar that apparently was not being meant to be shared.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. It's my fault. It was not. Listen, just take the. I gotta take the L. It's just easier. Sometimes you just gotta take the L. But we have got now a match that is Reddick, Willing, and Gable. You gotta admit, the man knows how to market himself, no matter what he was given.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of wrestlers that could come back from something like Shorty G and build themselves back up to being a credible character on screen.
He will be a valuable asset to go. Oh, he grew his hair back long.
Yeah, he's wearing a wig.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He's going for the classic look.
Yeah.
I will say, Alpha Academy is entertaining.
Yes.
Like, Otis looks great. Like, just in this role, instead of being a big goof. Which, I don't mind, but, like, this is just cool. Just to see him, like, no, I forgot. I'm a human boulder. I'm just going to destroy people.
Right. Yeah, I'm a potato with legs. Just send me after
Potato
whoever.
with legs. But he is going to be facing Jack Draper, the Mile High Magnum.
Mile High Magnum. Former WWE developmental talent, went to Ring of Honor, and then, Ring of Honor happened, and now
Could possibly come back.
But is he coming back?
Could be.
Had a really good match with Jonathan Gresham for the Pure title last March.
I saw that match, actually. Yeah, that was a good one.
At the anniversary show. Really good stuff.
Go to Terminus. Go to Terminus, Dak. That's where your calling is. Because he was a very good pure wrestler with the. It was just, I really like. He was one of the several standouts to me. That was when they were really pushing the pure wrestling style. He's a big dude, by the way.
Yeah, he's 6'5".
He's got the WWE build, like that they usually you would feel like that they look for, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah, 6'5", 246. He's a big dude. Even if he wasn't in there with Shorty G, he would still. He's a very large man. And Gable, honestly, 5'8", not that short. But once Vince gets an idea in his head, if he didn't put a blue dot over his face.
I don't agree necessarily with these ratings that Cage Match puts on him. I think that this is a guy who, again, if you put in a developmental version of Ring of Honor, could do well.
What is Cage Match? Oh, 4.8. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, all the users are just being like, he's not this material. So it's just like, you're allowed to have a pure wrestler who has a personality.
Yeah. Tall, decent.
I don't necessarily think like maybe there has been some matches where he might have been exposed a little bit, but
sure.
That's what development is for. Unfortunately, the Performance Center has failed its developmental talent by just giving them, an expectation to live up to, and not really following through.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you're Braun Breaker.
Unless you're Braun Breaker. And even that, like 5 years ago, would Braun Breaker have been in the position he's in now? I don't think he would be. I think he would still be in the Performance Center. He might be doing like what like Riddick Moss and Tino Sabatelli were doing. Yeah. In that
but it also helps that he is a legit natural talent.
Yes. He's
a
I
Steiner.
guess maybe Sabatelli and Moss is a bad example. Maybe he'd be more like what they were trying to do with Lars Sullivan.
Yeah.
where he wasn't at the top of the card, but he was a feature attraction behind the Sami Zayns and the Shinsuke Nakamura's and the Adam Coles.
Now, here's the thing about Chad Gable, too, is that you put him in the ring with anybody, and he will make them look great.
Yes. Absolutely.
He is one of those asset players, and I think that's where WWE knows the value in him. Thank goodness.
I think it's where they know the value in him now.
Yeah.
I think it took him a while once he came up to the... Because I think Vince saw him. He's like, what is this little dude?
Right.
Like, what is... Like, yeah, let's split him apart. Let's get the, his big athletic partner. Let's give him a push. And we got, Jason Jordan as Kurt Angle's son, and Gable became Shorty G. But now I think they realize, like, oh, this guy... and Dak picks up the win.
He made Dak look great in that match, I will say that.
Shoulder-mounted power slam.
That was pretty cool, actually. I was watching that finisher.
I don't know that I've seen that.
This would be another upset, as it were.
All right. So,
in terms of rankings, this is definitely another surprise.
The Magnum KO. Oh, that's a great name for a move.
Yeah.
Magnum KO. Like
congrats to the Mile High Magnum, Dak Draper.
And Chad Gable goes out the first. That's our second lowest rated match. I mean, that was a short match. It's a
back to the short match. Come on.
Sorry. That's among the shortest matches we've had. I would love to, when the first round is over in 6 weeks, do a kind of recap of like. Here are the, the 5 longest matches, 5 shortest matches, 5 biggest upsets.
Right.
Yeah, right, yes, yeah, exactly. Plays of the week.
Let's get, oh God, what's his name?
Berman?
Stephen A. No, hold on. Who am I thinking of?
Not Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, let's get Stephen A. Smith to come in and just talk. Here's why. Chad Gable is probably the best wrestler. Have him go nuts.
He would.
I kind of love him at his best when he's unhinged. He can be annoying as all hell sometimes, but it's like it's just fun to watch sometimes. He's doing all right. He's fine. But it's time to book Flip.
That's right.
Where do you think you're going?
Which they can do now.
He could be signed, and I hope, God, what a great... Like, you remember All In, that story for like, so many months on BTE. He was just like, put me in the show, right? You're going to put me in the show? And it worked when he took the mask off in the ring, and the pop that he got. Because everybody was following along with that story.
Yep.
And if you have Flip Gordon show up, who I love had like this amnesiac episode in Ring of Honor and like reversed himself back in time
to 2018.
To the 2018 days, to the point where he's mistaking other wrestlers for Elite. It was like a tag team very similar looking to the Young Bucks. And he's just like, you can't fight, you guys are brothers.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you talking about? But tell me some more about Adam Priest.
Adam Priest is a pretty young wrestler, although I noticed that his the edit has him born in 1967, which is not true.
I don't think any
I'm
of that is
guessing
true.
They copied somebody else and didn't change that.
How is that? He looks great for his age. And only wrestling in 2017. Only wrestling for 5 years.
54-year-old wrestler. Adam Priest, 4-year pro. Got into it very late in life, apparently. Trainee of AR Fox. Did a lot of matches on Dark and Elevation for AEW. Lost all of them. Against members of the Dark Order, the Hardy Family Office, Best Friends, Gun Club, the people that have matches on Dark and Elevation. He also competed in, I love this, the Hoss tournament, where he lost, unfortunately, in the first round to Davey Boy Smith Jr., aka Harry Smith, aka D.H. Smith, aka,
Yeah, he's had so many
He's had
So many
many names. But
So
yeah,
many
he's an up and comer on the indie scene. He got actually number 267 on the list this year, so that's pretty high praise for somebody whose win-loss record was not great. I mentioned that he lost a lot on Dark during the Daily's Place marathon days. He was one of their kind of featured indie guys that they would go to. He's from Alabama, so it was a quick and easy trip for him to get to Jacksonville. So
there's a lot of there's free matches if you wanted to check him out. There's one of him versus Wheeler Yuta on YouTube from Independent Wrestling. Recently, he just faced Invictus Cash on Terminus, which that was the first time I actually saw him live. Again, I think he definitely fits that pure wrestling mold.
Yeah.
He's got it's kind of weird to say considering the person, but he's got a Benoit build, He's got that stocky, pure muscle, but also with the good technical match behind it. Thankfully, he's not doing any kind of diving headbutts that's going to affect him long term.
Yeah, unfortunately, can you imagine if Benoit was coming up now? Now that we know,
he'd be the king.
Brain injuries, he would. Yeah, what Danielson is doing now? Can you imagine Danielson against Benoit? Or Punk against Benoit. It's just.
That was the match that was supposed to happen for the ECW Championship, and Benoit was supposed to win the ECW Championship.
Yep, he was supposed to beat Morrison, or no, Morrison was his replacement.
Morrison beat Punk. And Benoit was meant to beat Punk originally.
Yeah.
God, that was rough times. Amazing Dark Side of the Ring episode. Heartbreaking to say the least. But God, what a weird world this pro wrestling life can be.
Very much so. Very much so. But also, if that had never happened, would we be where we are in terms of head injuries in wrestling? That was kind of the catalyst.
Have we gotten any better though? That's another thing, because you could say the same thing about the NFL too.
That's true.
You can promote a lot of things in terms of what you're looking at, but CTE is still a thing.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. Very much.
It's just I feel like wrestlers have taken it upon themselves to change.
Yes.
The way that they do work so that they can further their career or the longevity of their career.
To the point where it was, it was news when, was it Fyter Fest or Fight for the Fallen, when Spears hit Cody with the chair unprotected.
God, I was so mad.
It pissed the entire industry off. It was we have made such ground up in this.
You're supposed to be the setting the example promotion.
Yeah. And I get that it was a gimmicked chair and it was supposed to break a certain way, and
nobody knew
the spot wrong. But still, none of that matters in the moment.
No.
But you go back. Hangman kind of made a joke about it with the Glenn.
Oh, sorry, that was a nice cutter by Flip Gordon.
And I flipped from Flip Gordon.
By the way, when you name yourself Flip, you better be a high flyer.
Yes, indeed. The native of Kalispell, Montana. Not exactly a wrestling hotbed. In fact, I can, off the top of my head, I can count the number of wrestlers I can think of from Montana on one finger.
And a veteran. Part of the National Guard in their explosives training.
Yeah.
But he has wrestled so many different indies, but notably Ring of Honor, where he made really a name for himself there. He's been in CMLL. He's been in New Japan. He's kind of gotten the places of where you want to be showcased. He has been there.
Yeah.
And I would like to see him either in the brand new version of Ring of Honor again, or finally get that AEW contract. Because what a great way to tie in all the stuff. Except we definitely won't see Marty.
Yeah, the
Listen, if you don't know,
only-
look it up. Just make your own judgment calls.
yeah, I was gonna say that as much as I would love to see that for the story symmetry, I also
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
unfortunately I feel like Flip is more of the control your narrative type.
Yeah, he does feel like it. Now that like the more I've looked in a little bit more about like it.
Yeah.
Listen, if you want to get to know someone now, you just check their Twitter. You're gonna really get an idea of what they're like.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as big a fan as I am of Flip in the ring, I feel like his future is more along the lines of Austin Aries than the Elite.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because he really is. He's very good in the ring. Really good match. I mean, his match with Gresham from Final Battle, not this year, but the year before, was fantastic. So, but
we'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
Here, we'll. We're not unbiased. We've clearly made our feelings on the whole CYN thing known, but
and that's pretty much the end of what we're gonna do with it, because the more I find out about it, the less I am intrigued.
Yes, indeed.
By the way, the Austin Aries still in the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship tournament.
Is he? Okay.
From what I understand. Because they're bringing that title back. Mm-hmm. It is essentially a red belt version of the World's Heavyweight Championship. So kind of some cool symmetry there, at least.
Yeah.
But
rolling Germans from Priest.
There's the junior heavyweight division. I always liked at least junior heavyweight, because like light heavyweight does not make sense to me.
Although I think light heavyweight is how boxing lists.
Yes, it still doesn't make sense to me. Like I don't understand featherweight. I don't understand bantamweight. Like
welterweight.
Just where these names come from. Cruiserweight just sounds cool, and I only know of it because of WCW.
Right.
There was a band in college that I played on radio called Cruiserweight.
Nice. It's a good name for a band.
Had nothing to do with wrestling. We were just a nice old rock band from Texas.
Ooh.
Is this now our longest match?
It is closing in. It's still got a couple minutes to go to catch up on the
flying headbutt.
That one went 22:07, but this is now our second longest. It has passed the O'Shea Edwards Lee Johnson match.
There's certainly a lot of hard hitting, and I'd seen a lot more striking and suplexes than I would normally see from two technical wrestlers, but it broke the back, and that'll be it. Adam Priest break you.
267, Adam Priest over two.
A bright future for Adam Priest, to say the least.
You're a poet, and you weren't aware of the fact.
Oh, I hope I didn't do that on purpose, folks. That's just not my style. Don't like that. The world. No, sir. Don't like it.
No, sir. I don't like it. Oh, Ren and Stimpy. Times were so much simpler.
Oh, that's not what I'm trying to. It's for some reason it's like, no, not that Adam Priest. What? No, just yes, that Adam Priest.
That Adam Priest. And oh man, and that would have been a fun bit of symmetry. By virtue of that victory, Adam Priest will now face Cody Rhodes in the second round, who got a first round bye. Flip and Cody would have been fun, but it is not to be. Adam Priest moves on. We know actually very few of the second round matches coming out of this episode, because a lot of them are against people I don't have edits for. More on that later in this episode, girls.
Oh, by the way, we've also been trying something new. We hope that you enjoy. You can tag along with it. Both myself and Pat will occasionally do independent streams, as it were, where we're going to play wrestling games. And I've been playing Retromania, which has been fun because Pro Wrestling X turned out to be terrible.
That was a rough stream.
I was just
I
like,
watched that one. I was like, oh,
it was like the controls
for you.
translate it didn't let me adjust anything to like maybe tamper it down. It was like, no, we must have the character models be the highest graphic thing here to slow down your computer.
It was so laggy.
Controls were sloppy too. Yeah. Like even I just tried to play it off of like the stream, and I was like, nope, not worth it. There's a reason it's only $1.
Is that what it was? I missed that part.
Retromania, though, great game. The storyline, I'm kind of loving it. I'm playing as Johnny Retro, who is John Morrison, going along with the gimmick of I am last name of whatever gimmick is the promotion.
Yeah. And is it Johnny Worldwide now that he's in Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide?
I think so. Is he back to? He can't be Johnny Mundo, I'm guessing. Because that's probably copywritten by El Rey.
Whoever it is that still owns that, yeah.
But Johnny Worldwide makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he's never going to be superstar John Hennigan.
No.
He will always but the thing is, it's fun to see that like continued gimmick. Johnny Impact. He was Johnny Nitro. You know, he's Johnny. Can't be Johnny Wrestling. He's like, that one's been taken.
That's a feud waiting to happen.
Yeah. Who will get the surname?
You're Johnny Nitro. You're Johnny Mundo. You're all these things, but you're not Johnny
Wrestling. That would be fun. I would love to see that, actually. But yeah, I do like the gimmick. And if he did show up in All Elite Wrestling, I mean, it would make sense for him to be called Johnny Elite.
Would.
I don't know if they necessarily eventually he'd probably be hyped and debuted as Johnny Elite, and then eventually get super kicked to oblivion and be like, no, you're John Hennigan. Stop this.
Yeah. Or have him show up in the new relaunch of Ring of Honor as Johnny Honor.
Johnny Honor. Honor? Barely know her. Terrible joke.
You can have Danhausen show up and it's like, so we finally meet son of Dave Honor. I'm no relation. That's just it's a given.
Jonathan Honor. Yes, the House of Blackness. he did like an in-ring interview at a fan fest before a show. He did the interview at the House of Black. He's like, yes, this House of Blackness. All of you related to Mr. Malachi? Love that Danhausen. Love that Danhausen. So does my son. My own little Danhausen.
Kid's got taste.
He's a toddler. Right. What are you gonna do?
Speaking of big boys slapping meat,
I was gonna say, let's see you segue this one.
Pretty Boy Smooth coming out. 6'9", 260 pounds from Hempstead, New York. Just a big old fella. He teamed with Trey Lamar, who we saw earlier in the tournament. They challenged for the AIW tag team titles last April. Came up a little short in a gauntlet match, or a scramble match. Apologies for that. Showed up a couple times on Dark, Elevation, and his finisher, which I love, is called the Funeral Service, which is a great name. And he's in there against Bounty Hunter Brian Keith. Red Shoes gonna be calling this one right down the middle, daddy.
Here's something I love about Pretty Boy Smooth. The man knows to keep himself moisturized.
Yes.
Because every time he comes to the ring, he will request that when he'll get his lip gloss out, or he'll get his chapstick out, and just find a nice lady to help him out.
Yeah.
As he says, keep it player. It's so cool. I'm watching a montage on his Twitter feed of just every woman that he's just like, you, come here. And they're all like, okay.
Yeah, he's and he's got one of those builds. We're talking about guys that Vince would love. I feel like he just hasn't seen a PB Smooth match yet.
Speaking of PB Smooth, he
6'9"
just told us, I better win.
Oh, well.
Just retweeted us. Better win. Well, best of luck to you.
Yeah. Certainly got the size advantage over the Booker T trained bounty hunter Brian Keith, who probably his highest profile match to date was a time limit draw against Mike Bennett in New Texas Pro 6 days before he won the title there. So yeah, this is a big test for Brian Keith.
I don't want Pretty Boy Smooth to come find us if he doesn't win. It's not our fault, man. It's your digital avatar.
It's all simulated. The controller is down.
You got nothing to do with it, man.
It's all simulated. All I did was set it up and hit play. Ooh, snap power slam. PB Smooth. So it's we're gonna see PB Smooth is gonna be looking for that funeral service finisher. Brian Keith looking for his rodeo DDT. Big backdrop from Keith, and then that step up Inzagiri.
You gotta love when the talent interacts with us, though. You know, that's always fun for me.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's the most fun part, but the most fun part is doing it. But just seeing that the talent is enjoying it too. Had a real good time chatting with Alex Kane a couple weeks ago and Elo.
Yeah, just dropped right in on the chat.
Yeah.
Dax Shepard. I keep doing that. Dax Harwood. Throwing us under the bus. Listen, I saw what I saw. You lost to a Canadian destroyer.
Calling it right down the middle.
Come on, man. Sometimes you just get, like I said, you gotta take the L.
Yep. And Don't Die Miles in our very first match ever.
The hero of Pro Wrestling Simulated.
That's right. That's right. If we ever do a PWS IRL,
he's
that
gonna
may be our inaugural champion. Big running boot.
Or at least a top contender.
At least a top contender. He'll be in the main event.
We don't want to just award. This isn't a world heavyweight title situation.
That's right. Big hip toss for people. And that is a big, going, almost 7 feet up in the air on that hip toss.
These might be our biggest competitors of the day facing off against each other.
I believe so, yeah.
It's funny because we went just from a legit, cruiserweight now to almost super heavyweight.
Keith
strong knee strikes to each other.
Kind of sticking and moving with strikes. Yeah. Hitting big kicks and then just kind of trying to stay out of the grasp of PB Smooth. Because every time they
get back elbow there.
Smooth. Going with the power move.
You don't want to get hit with a big leg drop by that.
Or
and then a jackknife powerbomb. Oh.
Double choke bomb, Baldo bomb.
Is this it?
From PB Smooth. 2.9.
Oh, he kicked out because I'm afraid to tweet out the results. And if it's not PB Smooth,
the winner of the match is redacted.
I don't know.
Brainbuster from Brian Keith. 1, 2, 2.9. Trading these near falls very close.
It's killing me.
In a collision. All right, we've got our breather spot here for just a second. PB Smooth bounces right back up.
Another one.
Power bomb.
There's a jackknife.
They can't capitalize.
The thing I like about the jackknife power bomb is it's a straight up just throw you down.
Yeah.
Just pick you up and throw you down.
A back thrust kick from Brian Keith, shades of Steve Blackman on was it Bradshaw at the luggage carousel?
Oh God.
That old story from the Attitude Era. I can't remember. I think it was Bradshaw. I think it was Hardcore Holly told the story.
Well, then you can't trust him.
It was one of those. It was on the sleaze thread, and I guess Holly confirmed it in his book that it was actually true.
Yeah, but anybody can write a book and say what happened.
That's true. That's true. Big power slam there from PB Smooth. I just like the mental image of Bradshaw giving Steve Blackman crap at the luggage carousel, and Blackman just
he would. He absolutely would. He absolutely would. Him and Davey
That
Richards have like the
choke
most convincing casual spinning back kicks.
Yeah. Back to those kicks to the face from Brian Keith.
Brian Keith just kicking the ever-living Smooth out of PB Smooth.
It really is. Both
By the way,
guys
the
playing to their
PB
strengths.
does stand for Pretty Boy. He makes sure you know that in his Twitter
of
bio.
course. There's just a character limit on wrestler names in,
Yeah.
in Fire Pro, so we went with
Yeah.
PB Smooth.
Nothing to do with peanut butter.
No. Although, I do love me some smooth peanut butter.
I'm allergic, so.
Oh, that sucks. There's
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the company, but they make Bee's Knees peanut butter, which is peanut butter and honey mixed in the same thing. It is the most delicious thing. I've got a
Sure
jar
it
of it, and I think I know what I'm doing for lunch.
Oh, there it is. I love that move.
PB Smooth.
Cover
with
him!
the-
Cover
with the fan.
Just cover him. What are you waiting
Neither man
for?
really able to capitalize because they've taken so much abuse during this. Keith with
A
the
bridging
stacked
power
up
bomb.
power bomb too.
Very unique bridging power bomb. Ooh, stop my heart. Here's the thing. I have the tweet ready of who's going to win. And I'm very, very afraid if it's not PB Smooth, because that seemed very threatening.
PB Smooth taking.
Look,
the
if we don't
attack
book this
Harwood
thing,
route.
man, it is what it is.
That back hook kick again from Brian Keith.
Shades of Booker T with that.
This is our most even match in terms of seeding as well. Keith 251, Smooth 262. Very little difference between the two in terms of ranking.
His kicks are killer.
Two. And the winner of this is going to face Gia.
Oh, too close to the ropes.
Moxley in round 2.
So I think that was 6 O's. Or
Yeah, I think so. Probably could have gone longer, but
I think the longest I've ever heard, because I count every time, was like 11 seconds long. Oh, he
big
countered into
time
the brain buster.
from Keith, but he can't capitalize.
Might be trying to. Oh no, he was able to get up.
So that
No
weird
way,
power
no
bomb
way.
again. Oh, it's
No,
the jackknife
no
from
bridge.
Keith. Off the ropes.
What is he trying to do?
Clothesline.
Uh oh.
1, 2. And
I try not to be biased.
Good.
But when a wrestler tells us, basically, I better win,
Yeah.
you kind of want to not have to be the deliverer of bad news.
Yeah. Go for that choke bomb
Choke
again.
bomb again. There it is. That's got to be it.
2.
A little faster.
3, that
Richards.
did it.
Hey, there we go.
PB Smooth picks up the win. Moves on to a showdown with Mox in the second round. What are we ranking now? There's our second 100%. That was that funeral service power bomb.
And a sigh of relief waves across the crowd. And
Yes, indeed.
so you got your wish, PB. You won.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Our second 100%.
Ooh, that was
match
like
tonight.
very tense for me to write that tweet and just be like, who's gonna win?
Please win, please win, please win.
It's just a little tweet. It's still good. It's still good.
Good.
But it is the time for talk is over.
It's time.
It looks like there's been enough talk. It's time
Good enough.
for the main event. We've got 2 AEW stars in our main event. The recently now reunited Top Flight. Oh, I was so happy to see that.
Oh, Darius looked great in that.
He looked
match.
fantastic, and there was no shine taken away from him. It was just great to see them back in form, and that was absolutely AEW being like, we remember how good they are, and we're going to let you remember how good they are too. So be on the lookout for even better matches from Top Flight now that they are reunited and back.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do. Honestly, we're talking about the trios division. The two of them inside Al as a trio.
Ooh, that would be fantastic.
They would have some fun matches against like Death Triangle, the Elite.
There were so many trios that are pretty much already established.
Yeah.
That the division just books itself. And I think though that once the trigger is pulled on that, there needs to be some distinction about it. Like I feel like maybe like using trios traditional rules of 2 out of 3 fall matches and
no tags needed.
No tags necessary if opponent goes out of if a team member goes out of the ring. Like have that, incorporate that into it, and maybe do even like the point system that Chikara used to do, where 3 wins in a row, like 3 points, or 3 successive wins, I should say, awards you a tag team championship. Don't let it just be another win-loss thing. Really like make it special, because there hasn't been a true trios division in the United States.
No. Yeah, Ring of Honor 6-man.
I don't count 6-man tag because that's just an additional wrestler in a traditional tag division.
Yeah, exactly right.
When you use the term trios, you're talking about something very distinctive in pro wrestling.
There's a very specific meaning behind that word.
And being as we are big AAA fans, we love us some trios wrestling. Hell yeah, my old finisher still works. Thanks, pretty boy. And he even clipped it. He clipped it and tweeted us out. Thanks, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
We appreciate the love. That's great.
Awesome. I love that.
I gotta watch our own stuff now. That's awesome. That's so cool. I love that. Thank you, pretty boy. Smooth. Hey, you are now, I would say, down, ready to be booked whenever IRL happens. IRL.
One day. But first, on this day, I see clearly everything has come to light. No.
All right, let's not go crazy.
This is the 4th ever meeting between our main event participants, Dante Martin from Top Flight and Santana from Proud and Powerful. They were on opposite sides of a 12-man tag match December of 2020 on Dynamite, when the Inner Circle, which at that time included MJF, defeated Top Flight and the Varsity Blondes and the Best Friends in a 12-man tag match. They both participated in a tag team battle royal at Beach Break last year that was also won by Jericho and MJF. And then just 4 nights ago on Dynamite, they were part of the tag team battle, or the Casino tag team battle royale that was won by the Young Bucks. Both of them with their respective tag team partners.
I popped huge when I heard the music, and I was just like, yes, they are back.
Yep.
And I have been waiting for that moment.
And what a way to bring them back. I mean,
just,
letting them have that kind of showcase, letting them start the match, get the full entrance, and go to the end. Also, big fan of the fact that they did away with the card system for that version of the Casino Battle Royale.
And I hope that carries over into singles versions of it as well, because it's too much. Just do a Royal Rumble. Because a Royal Rumble match is now just a match style. It's not patented to
Everybody's got
WWE.
a version of it.
Everyone has a version. Like I've said, there's been the Honor Rumble. There's been the New Japan Rumble that they do before the January 4th show. There's just... Oh, Rambo, that's right.
It's the exact same thing. They just call it Rambo instead of Rumble. Probably for copyright reasons.
Probably.
TNA had the...
But I mean, you could stay in Rumble. That's like,
thing.
They say, it's used. It's a match format at this point, and anybody can do it. And I think,
I'm okay
if you're going to keep the casino theme, like I've said, I've heard this idea, and I love it. Roulette wheel, 30 spots or however many you want to do, you know, and then you have your wild card spot that could show up at any time. And then on the graphic, just show one less number on the wheel or a blanked spot of the wheel.
Yep.
Lord, you guys got enough money in the production. Just pull it off.
Yeah. I don't even mind the Joker being the last one out for the big pop surprise at the end. But yeah, do just a random draw. It's fine. That's what fans have come to expect from that kind of match. And AEW fans have they understand now it's everybody who drew a club comes out, but it's not as impactful when 7 guys all make their entrance all at the same time, as it is when it's one at a time, even with a shorter entrance interval. Do 45 seconds or a minute if you want to do it that way. I thought that the way that the tag battle royal on Wednesday worked was probably the best format they've done for one of those. I don't think it was the best match they've done in the casino style, but I liked the flow of this one.
Yeah, it was easier to follow.
Yes, but how impressive was Dante Martin while Darius was on the shelf?
Fantastic. It was such a good. It's the anti-WWE thing where, they were always acknowledging how much of a part of a tag team he was, and that we were just seeing this breakout singles run for him, and that it was kind of pretty much ingrained with everyone. This is an amazing run. He might do some great things, but that when Top Flight reunites, they're going to be even better.
Yes.
So that was great to do for them.
Backflip kick there from Dante, and honestly, talking about how big of a role Dante's been on, Santana during this storyline with Jericho looks like a single star poised to break out. I still want to see him and Ortiz win the tag belts at some point, but I think that when the time comes to pull the trigger on Mike Santana, he's ready.
Yeah. I don't wrestle. I fight. We know. We know.
We've been watching a while.
We've been watching, man. Yeah. You fight well.
Including, he put on a 5-star match 2020, part of the evaluation period for the 500. The street fight with him, or the parking lot brawl. I can't remember what they called it.
Yeah, that was such a great, and I love that the crowd remembered that.
Yep.
Because it was such a good feud.
Yep. And
great match that followed it, a great payoff. That was oh, okay, we haven't seen these two face off in a long time. This is gonna be fun. It was good. I like that the audience, they're not goldfish. They're gonna remember,
right. Yeah.
and you don't have to do a recap every 5 seconds.
Yeah. As much as AEW could do better about slowing things down and making sure things have an impact and recapping important stories, they do also do a significantly better job than the competition of trusting that the audience, Poison Rana there from Dante.
That move always gets
to 2.9.
Because it just never looks like they don't land on their head when that happens. It just looks so painful.
Yeah. And yet, they're always protected. It's not like the bump that Madcap Moss took at Elimination Chamber, right on his head on that inverted Alabama slam. Standing moonsault from Dante to 2.9.
This is definitely going to be. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, when are the more elaborate maneuvers going to be pulled out by Dante Martin?
2.9.
God, he's just kicking out of all of his best material, his greatest hits.
Big bulldog from Santana. That
old school bulldog.
Chekhov's chair still in the middle of the ring. Big DDT. I think Dante
He definitely
was
wanted to
come
go
up
for like a Northern Lights and then countered it.
I think that's exactly what was going on there.
I love that. Oh, he's gonna. I thought he was gonna go fly.
I thought he was going to dive. I thought we were going to see Angel Dorado take to the skies as his pre-top flight gimmick. As the
now,
the
isn't there
golden
story
angel.
that they actually like wrote
Spanish fly off the top rope?
Oh,
Cannot capitalize though. It took a lot out of him. Flying head
ooh!
scissor.
God, I just love watching Dante Martin in the ring. He's so fluid. He's so smooth with everything.
Going all the way up. Another one. Almost lands.
Almost hit the chair.
1, 2, 3. Dante Martin advances.
There we go.
Technically an upset seed-wise. Dante is so much heart.
Got real, as Von Wagner would say, heart. Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin the moment with NXT 2.0.
It's fine. Not good.
But congrats to Dante Martin beating Santana. I am looking forward to in eventually seeing Top Flight versus Proud and Powerful, because that's going to be amazing. All of the tag team matches that we missed on with him being out, and now that we're going to get back because they just look mint. I'm so excited for that. This has been a fantastic show. We've had a lot of surprises.
A lot of surprises. We had 8 upsets.
8 upsets
out of the 10 matches. O'Shea Edwards and Dak Draper were the only favored wrestlers to win this week.
I'm very excited to see now it's going to be interesting when the upsets face off against the upsets.
Mm-hmm.
Like when that eventually gets to a point.
Yeah.
Because, it's anybody's game at that point.
Yeah. Because we're going to start to see, like, in the final 128 or 64 of the tournament, wrestlers with seeds in the 300s or 400s that should have gone out in the first round, but pulled off an upset, facing somebody else who pulled off an upset. And then even if they're favored, it's still an upset. Like, they shouldn't have made it that far. Tournament's going to get real interesting in the coming weeks. We've done 18 episodes. We've got 6 more before the first round is over. And this was, unless something changes in the next 7 days, this was the last episode made up entirely of other people's edits.
Can't help but do it like Tony Khan, his dorky self. 7 days.
7 days. Because next week we will see my first edit in action, unless I'm able to find one of somebody I don't already have. But yeah, starting next week and for the rest of the tournament, we're going to get to see whether or not I know what I'm doing when I edit wrestlers.
Fantastic. And yeah, and if you want to help Pat out, of course, contact us, prowrestlingsimulated@gmail.com. Just put Fire Pro Wrestling Build or CAW, that old term. So what have we got for next week?
So next week, of the edits that I was able to find, we've got A-Kid, another NXT UK star, against the legendary Yuji Nagata.
Oh, wait, why are we having a kid wrestle on this show? We can't have just a...
It's former WWE Tag Team Champion Nicholas. You're welcome.
They did that. They did that.
That was a thing they did. Yeah.
If I was Braun Strowman, I would also turn right wing after getting that.
So we've got that. We've also got Alexander Hammerstone.
Yeah, my boy.
Against Biff Busick. That's going to be a brutal, hard-hitting affair.
Don't let
Truth.
Biff Busick's NXT run as
Oni Lorcan.
As Oni Lorcan. Don't let that dissuade you.
Yeah.
This man hits and hits hard.
Yes.
Check out his work from Evolve. You'll see exactly what we're talking about.
We will see R-Truth, the face of the 24/7 division, for better or worse.
I mean, if he doesn't somehow end up winning, in a convoluted way, the true version of that belt, the superior version, I should say, in DDT, then, I don't know what to tell you.
What are we doing? He will be facing Dominic Garini from Violence is Forever, who recently showed up on Dark, worked an AEW Dark match. Him and Kevin Koo, formerly of MLW. Luke Jacobs will be against Nash Carter from MSK. Laredo
Which we still don't know what it stands for.
Still don't. Laredo Kid, one of the most exciting luchadors in the world, is going to be against Hollywood heartthrob Ryan Nemeth. Josh Alexander of the North, we mentioned him earlier, will be against El Hijo de Canis Lupis, the son of the Wolf Dog. That'll be a fun one.
I love luchador names.
Cameron Grimes will be against Drew Gulak.
To the moon.
That is going to be a
Cameron Grimes, baby.
Eddie Edwards, the American Wolf, against Kevin Blackwood. Danhausen against Angel from Los Lotharios, the former Angel Garza, the former Garza Jr.
Is that what they're officially called now?
Los Lotharios, yep.
Okay.
Angel and...
I was just calling them like the handsome bastards.
And QT Marshall will be against My Edit. Again, unless something changes, for the first time you will see a Pat Dooley edit in the tournament against Jamie Tagatese. A New Zealand wrestler who I've watched a few of his matches to get that edit right. Fun big man brawler type.
Very interesting.
So we'll see what he does in there against QT Marshall. And then from then on, at least one of my edits will be in every match because I have run out of stuff online.
I mean, I think you're going to get the habit of it eventually, and you will. We're all learning stuff, you and I, as we do this show. How to stream better, how to, put together a card, and how to utilize social media with this. And you're creating, models of wrestlers for Fire Pro Wrestling World. And wrestlers are interacting with us. The ball is rolling uphill.
Oh yeah,
and we are not going to be Sisyphus with this, just pushing it. We're
going to get it up over the top.
We're going to get it over the top.
Yeah,
we will be king of the mountain. We'll take your title, Jeff Jarrett. But thank you so much for watching.
An actual title belt.
Yeah, I know that was bad.
They had a king of the mountain title.
Yeah, that was.
That was about the most TNA thing that ever TNA'd.
Yeah. Sorry, my mind went to darker days of when I was still trying to defend that promotion.
Yeah.
If we only knew. It's just a little crappy. It's still good. It's gone.
It's fine. Global Force is gonna be the thing that. No, that's just going cash for gold. Okay.
Anyway,
one
the future of wrestling is bright, and it's only going to get brighter. Enjoy Revolution tonight when and if you watch it, however you are. Shout out to Pretty Boy Smooth once again. Thank you for being our first Twitch clip on the stream. That is awesome. Pat, what's going on in the world of video game tournaments for you?
So I keep saying it every week. I think this is finally the week that Ricky Giraldo and I get back into the studio to record the next couple episodes.
Look, life happens, man.
The drawback to working the day shift and having a co-host that works the night shift makes it very difficult to find a time when we can both hop on at the same time to record. So when we do, we will record multiple episodes at the same time because we know it's short-lived. But we're pretty sure this is the week that we're gonna do that. And so Super Mario Brothers 2 against River City Ransom will be the next episode whenever it airs, followed by Super Mario Brothers 3 against Batman the video game.
Wait, which version?
The NES version.
Okay, I was going to say, because there were multiple versions.
Yeah, no,
early ones, too.
Our entire first season is all NES games.
No, I think there was like.
Oh, there was
multiple
also
Batman
Return
video
of the
games.
Joker,
Yeah.
which was the sequel to that one. No, this is the original one based on the 1989, based
Yeah, okay.
loosely on the 1989 movie, because the 1989 movie didn't have like Firebug or KG Beast or Maxi Zeus or several of the other characters that show up in the video game, because you need mini bosses. In a video
Mega
game.
Man taught us anything.
That's right. And I think there are 2 or 3 Mega Man games left. Just 2. Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 5 have both made it to the round of 16. And will be facing off against each other at some point in the hopefully very near future.
Very cool. And like I said, Pat and I will every now and then be doing another just independent live stream, as it were, playing games. Might have both of us, might have just one of us.
I'm kicking around the idea, if you're free, of popping on Tuesday night and doing some No Mercy for N64.
Yeah, I mean, if I can, I will. And if anything, I've been liking to reserve my Wednesday nights to play some Retromania, because it's just an easy night to have some fun with.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I only do about an hour of gameplay anyway, so it's not like we're not going to take up all your time. We're just going to have some fun.
Yeah. It's not going to be a 3-hour show like this one was.
No. It's not like we're doing a whole tournament.
Although I have kicked around the idea of doing, because I have a launch copy of No Mercy, the one that has the bug in it that erases all of your data after a little while.
No!
Of doing a, let's see how long I can play before the game crashes stream. But we'll see if that comes to bear, or if I just decide to, let's sim the headbangers against the New Age Outlaws, just for funsies. And see what happens.
By the way, the top headline that just popped up on my Facebook news: the Cody Rhodes WWE situation has become incredibly unclear.
Before it was just unclear, now it's incredibly.
Now it's incredibly unclear.
All right. Before there was some credibility, but that's gone now.
Now it's all gone. But thank you everybody for watching, and again, shout out to all the talent that always tweets back to us or just gets involved. If you ever want to just drop by in the chat, go right ahead.
Yeah,
we have set the precedent already. And again, like I always say, if you are watching and you have a favorite wrestler out there that you want to let them know, hey, you're in a tournament online in a video game, let them know. Show them some love. Show us some love by following us at all of our social media. It's there. It's at PW Simulated. It's the same across the board. And because there's too many characters for me to keep it Pro Wrestling Simulated like I originally wanted to. Yeah, please show us some love by keep following us there. And of course, if you want to help Pat out with any Creative Wrestler builds, please do so at our Gmail. This has been a great week. There's going to be another great week. Wrestling is fun. And when it's bad, it's fun. When it's great, it's amazing. So enjoy it, watch it, support it.
Wrestling's cool again, Brain.
You don't have to like everything, and it's okay if some people don't like what you like.
Yes.
Just be cool, man. Just,
don't yuck somebody else's yum.
Yeah, exactly. But we will catch you next time on Pro Wrestling Simulated. I've been Mike.
I'm still Pat.
And this has been the 500.
See you next week.